speed. And yeah, he brings
Whoa.
out the Tome of Knowledge.
Is that all 4 Spell Shield Arcanes banished, or was that last game?
I think it was this game, actually. So it has no more Spell Shield. Oh, no, you're right. It was last game. We just saw banishment. Yeah, he's
They still got 2 in there.
still got at least 2 in banishment. So it might be actually.
Sean's hand actually doesn't look very good. From what I saw a bunch of increasing dangers, a dungeon guy.
Or is that Fireball?
Is there a Resolute Stand as well, I think?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So at least 3 Spell Shield Arcanes are out now.
The best defense is more offense.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
We're just trying to push damage here. If we're Sean, we need to find the line. Find lethal. He's going to careful study, get all of those extra enlightenment counters. I think he's most likely just digging for... Well, so Advent in this turn is pretty useless, but he's probably digging for fireballs at this point.
Yeah. I think that's his best out over here. But he has 3 fireballs in hand. So if he can get if he has enough influence, I think on Capen's materialization or recollection, depending on what happens, he could kill. His influence needs to be...
Needs 9 for triple fireball.
Yeah, which is unfortunately hard to count without seeing his hand.
He's probably going to try to do that, right?
Yeah.
In response to your materialization on the stack, I'm going to fireball you. I'm going to fireball you again. I'm going to fireball you again.
Yeah.
And Caven has the Spell Shield Arcane, so he's able to block that. You know, one of those coming in.
He also has this Serene Spirit still, so he actually is on 31 life points. Well,
so in this situation, you actually won't even need to... Okay.
Interesting. Did Sean just... Oh, yeah, because Sean
passed turn, so end step. That's
damage,
That's an end step. And he's saying, hold on. In response to your materialization, I'm going to... he's going to Power Overwhelming for 5 levels.
All right.
This is going to put him to level 15, which means fireballs are 16. So down for fireball.
And Capen has 2 cards in hand now because he used fireball at the end of
So he's going to take
Sean's
16 there. He's going to lineage release.
Yeah. That is
27,
enough.
and that's game.
Yeah, that is game.
Yeah, so they're discussing the second fireball before it comes down in this situation.
That was an interesting game. That was
a really big game of chicken in that situation. So what happened there was Caben said, okay, Sean passes turn with cards in hand. End step, I'm going to fireball you.
Yeah, I think that was a very interesting risk for Caben to take there because I think he may have forgotten that Sean can also fireball back.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely a risk, and it could have easily paid off. But I think you can see here how it didn't this time.
I think that was a completely unnecessary risk.
Yeah, I don't see the reason why he did it other than just push the damage through. You know, he can recollect the cards immediately.
Yeah.
On his
what kind of situation can you be in where your opponent is a Rise holding like 8 cards in hand and passes turn to you? They're going to be playing fast spells. It's Creative Shock. It's Fireball. There's really no other answers in that situation. Like maybe it's nerves after that second game, after the game loss was issued, but it's just unfortunate. And I gotta say, Sean knew exactly what it was, right?
Yeah.
He saw the fireball come down. He said, "Oh, of course I'll take that."
Yeah, sure.
Because now Caben has no cards in hand available to play the Spell Shield, and it's gonna be completely over for him.
Yeah, and I think Capen may have also thought that he I'm just gonna get the GCR, draw a card, and then I still have Spell Shield up, but he because Sean responded to the GCR materialization, there was nothing he could do.
So we're going to be going to a 5-minute break here shortly, but then we will be bringing you guys round 4 of the World Finals here for Grand Archive. welcome back, everybody. We are here for round 4 of the Grand Archive Finals. It's going to be our day 1 Swiss rounds. We're going to be seeing Matt G up against Alec.
Alec, yeah. I love both of these lists because Wind Allies is one of those eternal decks, I think, that are good and reliable, and both of them are Wind Allies, but different flavors of them. You know, one of them, Matt is playing Crux Wind Allies, and Alec is on Tonoris Wind Allies, you know? And, well, on paper, it doesn't look that different, but when you think about the class bonuses that Warrior has access to, the decks really start growing apart from one another.
Yeah, and so we're going to actually jump right into Matt's intro, and then we can talk about his deck a little bit after that.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Matt. I'm from Chicago, and I'm a part of Chess Club. My favorite card in Grand Archive is it's probably Erupt. Have a lot of good memories with that card. Maybe not my opponents as much, but yeah. So the reason I'm not playing Erupting is because I was testing some Wind Crux, and I just thought that it had a really good matchup spread into just about everything. So I started going over a bunch of different versions of it. I think I had like at least 40 different versions of just tweaking a bunch of ratios, and I think I landed on like a really solid list that should hopefully do really well. I'm really happy to have gotten this far and had all these great experiences so far, and it's honestly been probably one of the best years of my life so far. Winning the World Championship would mean that I could have infinite tacos whenever I wanted.
Excellent. Pretty good motivation.
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities.
Yeah, so Infinite Tacos indeed, Matt, if you win with this deck list. I think this deck list is fantastic. So this is like a pseudo sort of Avarice concept, right? So
Yeah.
Prismatic Edge, Seared Blade Ascension. He's going to be using the water to draw a card every time, and then he has the wind to remove a card from the enemy. So
Yeah.
the -1 and the +1 for you kind of nets similarly to the +2 for you, but probably has more impact in the game overall.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like Seafaring Mercenary, I think has floating memory as well. So if like they use a Gawain to let you to discard it from your memory, you know, they deny you the draw late game, then you still get value off of it. So you basically still get to draw the card.
Yeah, you'll still be able to get that drawn blade available for
Yeah.
free. But the big thing with the Seafaring Mercenary here is it does enable Rally the Peasants even harder. Seafaring Mercenary is a human card, which
Yeah.
allows for the combinations of Banner Knights as well as the ability to use all these Phalanx Captives, right? The more you have of these available, the more you're able to deal damage.
Yeah, I think I Rally the Peasant. I think it's a fantastic card, and as we could see that in Nationals with Caben's deck.
Mhm.
And I think the way they are using it to both dig for the card draw for the the Prismatic Edge, and to dig for the anthems and like the board buffing cards.
Yeah,
it's,
so
it's a
Banner
very
Knight and
versatile.
Phalanx Captain
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
situation like really bring a lot of damage. But we're gonna step into Alec here and take a look at his intros.
Hi everyone, yeah, I'm Alec. Yeah, I'm come from Hong Kong. I'm so glad to join this World Championship. Yeah, why do I play GA? Because firstly, in my in the Discord, my friend which is come from Taiwan, he sent me a photo about Sylvie with the Taipei 101. Oh, so it's so beautiful, but it's catch my eyes that in the GA because of this card. Yeah, the champion that I wish want to become more competitive. I think it's the Sylvie. Yeah, as I know that, as I said it before, Sylvie is why I play GA because I saw the Taipei 101 with her. And in Hong Kong, Grand Archive is still a new game that there are not much player. So I hope that there are lots of different kind of events that Hong Kong can organize, such as the regional. I think I'm so lucky that I can join this World Championship. So because of this championship, I practice a lot. So I hope I can have a good performance here. So don't too much misplay actually during the Steam. Yeah. And in this tournament, there also have a lot of idol in my. I think it's have a lot of idol, such as True Gaming, Carbon, or Matt. There are different kind of people is so drawn for playing GA. So I'm so happy to play all of them. Yeah. if I'm so lucky to have become the championship. So I think that it's tough that Hong Kong, Hong Kong is a place to play GA too. So put more resource to the Hong Kong, so Hong Kong have some regional and different kind of event. Yeah.
Right, so looking at Alex deck list here, there's a lot of different ratios.
Yep.
Something that we don't see in a lot of decks. We're seeing things like 2 Esteemed Knights, 2 Trained Sharpshooters. It's pretty classic for Dream Fairy matchups.
Yeah.
But there's a couple other things that are a little strange to me. So I see 4 Ace and Protectors with only 3 attuned the wins.
Yeah.
And I also see 2 Swift Recruits.
Yeah, it's usually like Swift Recruit is such a good card, or especially early game. And like in this matchup specifically, but I think overall across the board, getting down early game Swift Recruit is very good. Because either you push for damage if your matchup is, if it's a combo deck into you, or it's just keep it up to protect yourself with the intercept. And I think the 2 is very interesting. I wonder what the thought behind it was, because it's definitely, the guaranteed floating memory from it is pretty good. So, yeah, and the attuned with the wins, I'm a really big fan of that card.
But there
like,
should be 4. There
yeah,
should be 4.
I love permanent buffs, and I was also shocked when I saw that he only plays 3 because it's just an incredible card, and for 3 you get to permanently buff your whole team, and it's not just for
My
attacks.
Zephyr says permanent, by the way. My Zephyr says permanent, by the way, repeatedly.
Yeah, it's definitely, it doesn't only buff their attacks, it makes them harder to remove as well. Of course, Zephyr is there to remove it, but it makes it a lot harder to remove. And if you buff your Swift Recruit with the buff counters, it's a great. Or like for Asin Protectors, that's you're right that it's very odd that it's only 3 attune and 4 Asins, because an Asin with even just bump buff counter is just insanely good, I think.
In this matchup specifically, looking at both deck lists, there's a couple things I want to point out that I think are fantastic in the matchup. And just for the room overall, right? Like playing in this Swiss set of 16 players, Alec is running a main deck, or a main boarded Tithe Proclamation in a Wind Allies deck. And that shows a ton of respect for Rai.
Yeah.
Really for Rai.
And for Merlin as well, which is 2 of the most prevalent decks today. Well, yeah. So it's definitely interesting, and definitely an amazing meta call on Alec's side here. I wouldn't have expected, because nobody else really plays Tithe Proclamation. I haven't seen it in many sideboards either.
Well, the majority difference here is like the standard Wind Allies will usually take Smoke Bombs in that slot instead of taking Tithe Proclamation, but he runs it in the sideboard because maybe he assumes there's not going to be that many people who are running things like a Shield Mate, a Swift Recruit, to like defend themselves from lethal in this situation.
Yeah, and he's not wrong on it either,
Mm-hmm.
And then this matchup is definitely going to be interesting because Alex's deck is more catered towards combo decks, and so I feel like he's on a bit of he's a bit disadvantaged going into this match.
Oh, look how happy he looks. He's just he's such a genuinely nice guy. He's just happy to be
and
here.
He's using the world sleeves as well.
Yeah, fantastic world sleeves here, provided by Dragon Shield. Oh, look at that. He's giving us the hearts. We love you too. We love you too, sir. Much appreciated. There's actually one more thing in this deck list that I think does give Alec a better chance. Is that he's running 3 Scavenging Raccoons.
True.
So in this setup specifically, if he has allies on the board, he swings into a Swift Recruit. If the Swift Recruit dies, he's able to Scavenging Raccoons to remove it. Alternatively to that, if he reclaims something like a Tactful Sergeant, if he reclaims a Dream Fairy, if he reclaims his Academy Guide, that reclaim can also be eaten by a Scavenging Raccoon. So, like, it feels like these decks were already sideboarded for each other, and I think that's okay. Maybe I shouldn't say that because Matt's deck is sideboarded to fight this matchup.
Yeah, Matt's sideboard seems very catered towards this matchup with 3 Dream Fairies and 3 Hurricane Sweeps. It seems like he was just like, okay, I'm good with combo decks. I think I got that. But if I might go up against allies, I need this. And yeah, it's definitely very cool. And
I mean, overall, when you look at it, the Dream Fairy is like a very dead pick in a lot of these situations, right?
Yeah.
It's not a human, so it doesn't work with Rally the Peasants. If you're worried about allies, it's a fantastic pickup, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not worried about allies, it's just an option, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're not going to use Dream Fairies in a situation, like Blanche would be fantastic. Morgan's probably not that necessary unless you're really afraid of like a lot of Luxem Xander players or just those kinds of like recovery focused decks.
Yeah.
The thing that it will interest me the most, and this is a little bit of kind of like future sight in here, is when we move to the 15 card sideboard, a deck like this I think becomes fantastic, right? You
Yes.
only need
Yes.
2 material deck cards. So, using the 3 slots for that, you're
Yep.
going to have 9 cards available for your sideboard,
Which is
means in this situation, that's 3 Dream Fairies, 3 Hurricane Sweeps, and 3 Blanche.
Yeah, yeah, and you get to be, more prepared for everything across the board. I think it's gonna do the new sideboard plans. We're gonna do a lot of good for these ally decks, because I think that's really what's been keeping them, a bit under control, or not under control, keeping them a bit below tier 0, is that you can't get versatile enough with your sideboard. You can either prepare for this or that, and then your main board, you can handicap yourself to prepare for XY matchup, but it's a bit rough.
It's interesting that you feel that way. I actually have a completely opposing opinion.
Really?
I think ally decks will become weaker, knowing with not just the sideboards, but like MRC is bringing in with the cards that we've been spoiled. MRC is bringing in a lot of things that are reactionary, a lot of control and burn in decks that don't traditionally have it. So
Yeah, but I think
a
it
really
also
strong one is like
gives-
Wind Merlin. Wind Merlin will have removal for allies
True,
now.
but allies will also have. So I think like allies will also have a bunch of great tools to protect themselves. So I think I understand. It's a great point, but
MRC brings so much like stability to level 3 decks, because like right now level 3 decks are like really risky, right? If
Yeah.
you don't hit a dungeon guide, it's how do you get to level 3?
yeah, it's like. But I think it's also that with MRC we're getting much more graveyard hate as well.
It's true. There's a lot of options. So hopefully that means that decks like Matt's, where we see the Quicksilver Girl and the Nullifying Lantern in the sideboard, might actually be more relevant in MRC.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. But
Yeah.
now we're in Worlds. It's still ALC season. Let's see what these guys are up to.
ALC season went by so fast. I feel like I blinked and suddenly it's like, hey guys, MRC
Yeah.
premieres tomorrow,
Like,
by the way. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Oh,
cool. So make sure if
insane.
you're at Worlds, I believe it's 3 side event tickets. You can join in and check out the Sylvie
Yep.
and Tristan
Tristan.
recollection decks.
yeah, it's definitely worth it if you're here. Even if you can make it, I think it's a great opportunity to get a first exclusive look at the full recollection decks.
Real talk, those sleeves are fantastic.
Oh, it's so
Absolutely fantastic.
so beautiful, and the texture. I really, really like Dragon Shield matte sleeves. They the feel of them, and they don't slide and they don't get sticky easily. That's my problem with the usual sleeves. And I think the look as well, the colors on the sleeves are beautiful.
That jacket is fantastic.
Yeah.
World's jackets look so good, so clean. I love the branding on it. I think anything made by Grand. I'm
Yes.
a Grand Archive enjoyer. Everything made by Grand Archive is fantastic. I completely skipped FTCs. Don't ignore that. Ignore that factor.
FTC season was fine, actually.
Whoa.
Like, no, FTC season got a lot of players for us, so I don't mind FTC because we had a lot of product that you could use and entice people to start playing the
So
game.
Clem's first stream, she's like, debates Scepter of Lumina. We're on the World stream, and she goes, guys, FTC season was fine. I think maybe our producer San Shinja would agree with you and say FTC season should have been longer.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't long enough. Oh, so it seems they're shuffling their decks up. Is Matt also using the world sleeves? They're
I
very
believe
pretty.
So. I believe both of them are using the World
Yeah,
sleeves. They're
but
very
I
nice.
think Matt is using the good side for his main deck, and Alec is using the evil side for his main deck.
Yeah, and then we have the Chess Club branded sleeves there.
Yeah, those are also very beautiful. Their logo is the majestic spirit as a chess piece, and
Goat chess
yeah,
piece.
it's awesome. It's the most powerful piece in chess.
Very fitting. So we're going to be starting off match 1 here. It's going to be Matt G versus Alec. We're going to be seeing the Win Lorraine Crux allies, kind of a mid-range anthem-focused deck here. Does have Prismatic, though. A lot of
Yeah.
value from that. And then we're going to be seeing Win Tenoris, focused on level 1, level 2. So this is going to be like more aggressive Wind Ally style deck.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see because Donoris is pretty good at protecting his friends, you know. So it's gonna be an interesting matchup. I haven't seen much of Tonoris allies versus Lorraine allies. And
I think the biggest difference between Tenoris allies and Lorraine allies is that Tenoris can't do anything about a hurricane sweep.
true, unfortunately.
Your taunt is heavily ignored by the fact that I can hurricane sweep at level 1.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, but
We don't see Sword of Adversity in this deck though, since we're gonna be very focused on allies. The only thing a little different there is you need the Bulwark Sword. So
yeah,
Bulwark Sword will allow you to swing for a little bit more. Oh, beautiful Gwendolyn Spirit of Wind there. If we remember correctly, Matt was the winner at Ascent Ontario, so he does have that gorgeous Spirit of Wind.
yeah, and he does go first. It is.
Oh, I thought he had it for a second. I thought he had the Academy Guide into the Besiege.
But he has 2 rally the peasants.
He could actually just double rally
Ghost,
here.
Yeah, it's a perfect play here because you still get to dig.
Or
for your ally.
rally into Swift Recruit's also fairly good in this matchup.
Yeah.
It gives you the protection early on plus the floating memory.
Yeah, but with 7 cards, you get to rally, and you still have 3 cards in hand, so you get to play a 3-cost 2/3. It's a pretty good start, and he does have the Swift Recruit there.
Oh, we're gonna see. The only downside to rally the peasants is all these cards are going to the bottom, so we're gonna lose. He's probably gonna take the dungeon guide.
Yeah, I would.
It's very risky not to take the dungeon guide in this situation.
Yeah, because it guarantees you the level 3 or level 2 alternatively.
Yeah. That was a really, really balanced rally, though. He found no multiples of a single card,
Yeah.
so he's gonna be able to kind of just know that he won't have a reclaim a favorable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he goes for the Swift Recruit. He took the Swift Recruit instead of the dungeon guide.
My apologies. I said favorable, but I think it actually was a Fairy Whispers that I think I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saw.
It was a little fairy on there. And passes. Doesn't play the Swift Recruit, which is, I think, interesting.
He doesn't really want to banish anything other than what he put down already.
True. It's risky if they don't kill your Swift for the floating.
Interesting things to talk about in this specifically. We see 4 Cruxites, and that's not a super common thing that I see nowadays. A lot of people tend to want a better turn 1 hand, less chance to essentially brick and draw too much Crux.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think Cruxite is very good.
Oh my, that was not expected.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we're gonna see Imperial Recruit doesn't need to foster. We're just gonna bounce it straight back to the hand of Alec, and he's gonna put down an Ace of Protector immediately. He actually had an Attune the Winds in his hand as well.
Yeah.
So if Matt doesn't find a way to deal with this immediately, that could be a big, big risk for him.
And next turn, I think Alec can even just go for the Imperial Recruit and the Attune with the Winds as well, which is a lot of damage.
Matt, however, has a slight advantage in this case. What he's able to do here is go to level 1, take a Sword of Seeking, beseech the Winds to level 2, play a Swift Recruit, or Swift Recruit swings for 1, and you get the on-kill effect with the Sword of Seeking plus your level 2 Lorraine. Because level 2 Lorraine says on enter, this turn your attacks gain +2, and on-kill draw a card.
Yep.
So if he does for that combo, he's actually going to net very positive against Alec, and it's going to be pretty disadvantageous for Alec.
Yeah. Well, let's see if... Yeah, that is. I think that's the way here. But the question is, how defensive is he want to be? I think you have to be more defensive in this matchup, right? Just go for the damage, kill everything on sight.
Essentially, it just depends on when he wants to push for level 3, I guess.
Yeah. Seems he might be considering what you said.
Ooh, he might not be.
Oh,
though.
no, wait. He's
holding the Swift Recruit in his hand, which means he actually won't have the ability to do that kill combo. So he's probably looking for a Rally the Peasants for a second Dungeon Guide.
Maybe. But it's very possible. Just see, Rally is amazing to dig for Dungeon Guide in this specific, and generally, to just
So he is
dig
going to
for
rally.
what you need. Yeah. And
Tactful.
Reclaim, Ascension, another
Oh,
Reclaim,
that is.
another Tactful.
Oh, no.
Oh,
That's
That's-
not what you want to see. You don't want to see
Yeah.
3 of your reclaims going to the bottom of your deck.
oh, that's unfortunate. It does take the Tactful, which allows him to dig even deeper, If he attacks, he can... Not this turn, because Tactful costs 4, so his influence is only...
Yeah.
his cards in hand is only 4. But Tactful is very good here to refill your hand,
Yeah, I really wanted to see the push in for the kill there on level 2.
Yeah.
Really did want to see Beseech the Winds level 2, play the Swift Recruit. Swift Recruit swings, you get the kill on draw or on kill draw
Yeah.
because it nets him like 1 card up. Right? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
even though you're putting the Swift Recruit on the field, if it dies, you get the floating memory of it. And if Alec plays a Scavenging Raccoon to remove that, he's playing a Scavenging Raccoon,
Yeah.
right? There's only so many times he can do that where you reach a point as like a Wind Crux build where you're just like, I'm chilling, I'm comfortable.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, early Terrafring.
I think it's Alex going the defensive plan here. But he saw the tactful sergeant, so I think he's trying to maybe deny the card draw from that. I'm not sure because even then, okay, so he goes for the Lurking Assault. Lurking Assault is such a wonderful card.
I really like the Terrafring here because it sets you up for a turn where you can protect your
And
board
a
before your level up.
Yeah. It's great. So a 2 with the Winds gives a buff counter to everything, which allows Alec to attack for 7 this turn.
It's going to be a lot. Buff counters on all allies you control. There is a class bonus for this. Harmonize does allow you to draw a card if you are harmonizing, but that is also only a tamer skill. We generally see it Tune the Winds in these Lorraine and Tenoris Wind allies decks. The low level, level 1, level 2 decks.
Well, it's a very solid deck in all of those, you know?
I think Matt is going to be leveling up to 2 in this situation.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the Swift Recruit and the Phalanx Captain. Level 2 Lorraine comes in.
Going away. He's
in
all right.
recollection, the banishment of Terrafring.
Yeah, that's expected. It gives him a lot more protection, especially seeing Matt's hand right now. It's pretty rough because he cannot kill something. Oh no, he can absolutely if he gets to kill something. But
Well,
he can't.
The trade-off order is you can't draw twice. You can only draw once. You can either draw from the kill or you can draw from the Tactful Sergeant.
Yeah.
And it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
right,
but the
for
thing
that.
is, I don't think Matt can actually kill this turn because he only has 3 damage from Lorraine. And
true, and
with
the
a buff
Terrafring.
counter.
The Terrafring
yeah.
is really holding him back here.
Yeah, and the Terrafring and the buff counter make it, the buff counter denies him the card draw. So I think that's also great foresight from Alec there. Is that in this way he guaranteed gets to keep his allies for 1 more turn.
Beseech the Winds for level 3. That's very spicy.
Oh, for Bulwark. He can't use Bulwark this turn either. That's yeah.
Yep. Can't. That's very unfortunate.
That
for
is
Matt.
yeah. Okay, and he
he's
it out.
just scooping. He's just scooping. So
Yeah.
Matt realized where he was at. It was a pretty unfavorable position, right? We see the Terrafring used. If Alec decides to go for the level up here and go into Tenoris 1, he's going to be able to have Taunt on board, which protects his entire board
for another
for
turn.
another 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, another 7's going to be protected in that situation.
For Matt, it didn't seem like there was many outs, And if I saw correctly, Matt took out 2 Seafaring Mercenaries for the Dream Fairies. Because in this matchup, you have to be very aggressive. And he cannot count on going to level 3 for that. So I think he just went for Dream Fairy because that slows Alec down as well a lot.
Well, he needs the Dream Fairies because he needs to be able to stop specific allies from coming out, right? Like in this situation, the specific allies like he's most afraid of is most likely going to be the Lurking Assailant.
Yeah.
But it's also pretty good against Swift Recruit and Asin Protector, right?
Yeah.
If you Dream Fairy the Asin Protector and then they try to kill it, you don't have that like ability to have a strong buff countered ally. I think the reason Matt scooped is because he realizes like the matchup's unfavored without the sideboard, and either he made a mistake in the judgment call for the level 1, level 2 play, or he just after the Beseech. He knew that he knew
it was
the
like,
moment he played the Beseech, he was like, I can't attack. The game's over. I'm just gonna move on to my next turn.
Because then that turn he really needed to remove the Asim Protector.
Yeah.
And
But the big thing with this deck is about accruing value. It's about stabilizing.
Yeah.
You need to get to level 3 in this deck or you will never ever find lethal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you get to level 3, you have many cards. Like he even had a Ghost of Pendragon in his hand, which is a wonderful ally here. And it is what you want to see. But going up to level 3 for him this time was very rough. He was losing out on a lot of value and a lot of cards. And it would have set him back way too far, I think, to risk it. So, but Terrafring was a great play from Alec there. So we're going into game 2 here.
The Terrafring immediately before leveling up to Tenoris level 1 is like almost always the right play.
Yeah.
Because it protects your board for 2 turns and allows you to accrue significant ally value.
Yeah.
Right? So you go from having a 3 power 4 life Ace Protector and a 2 power 3 life Lurking Assailant, increasing all of that by 1. So now you have 7 damage on board. You protect it with the Terrafring because your ability to Hurricane Sweep or kill a single ally is a lot harder.
Yep.
If you play an ally to clean up to kill, it's even harder because now you have to double the amount of attacks you're declaring.
Yeah.
As soon as you move to the level up, you start with 20 health, right? Being
Yep.
able to just immediately go into that. You can take a lot of damage as an allies player. If you're focused
Absolutely.
on low-level allies, you can eat 15 damage immediately on the first 3 turns
Yeah.
and be able to clean the game out. There's a lot of times where if you keep your board alive, you attack with a Bulwark Sword or you attack with a Rallied Advance, Inspiring Call is the game completely. Pre-Recollection Inspiring Call into a rally. The game can
It's
just be
so
over
good.
so
yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So Matt started again. And yes, I think this hand is a lot better than previously. He has a Dream Fairy to protect himself, a Fairy Whispers to once again dig for cards, and 2 Phalanx Captains and a Tactful Sergeant.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic opener. So
Yeah.
in this situation, he's got the Fairy Whispers in hand. He's going to 1 down for the Fairy Whispers in end step. The dig for a wind card, kind of stack the 3 with the glimpse there, and then
Yeah.
oh my! What in the
What
world
a
did we
hand.
just see?
Oh, does he just do? In this case, do you just go for the heavy swing? Turn
no,
1,
I mean,
turn 2, turn 3.
I low key, yeah, low key. You just heavy swing immediately.
Yeah, cause that was insane. The odds, though.
I can't believe we just saw 4 heavy swings in an opening hand. It wasn't even the first 8 cards. That was the first 7 cards of Alec's
Yeah.
hand, and then he drew the next card.
Damn.
I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so now he's down to 6 cards in hand. He draws 1 next turn. He goes heavy swing. Then he has 4. There's 10 more damage on board. That's almost lethal.
What's the first card there? So I see a Cruxite,
Sorry,
a Zephyr,
Zephyr,
and is it a
and-
Ghost of Pendragon?
That's a wonderful question.
A Cruxite to the bottom.
We'll see
Okay,
later.
so Zephyr comes through, and then he's going to be drawing, I think,
Yeah.
the Pendragon?
Maybe. All right. That's 2 Zephyrs, 2 Phalanxes, and a Dream Fairy.
I'm curious what Matt was thinking about doing there. Like, there's
Yeah.
no real Zephyr line. Maybe just trying to figure out, counting his cards in his hand to figure out what the overall influence, the value he's going to get from that is.
Yeah. And gets Bulwark Sword, which is, I think it's a very solid play here. Yeah, it was a Pendragon, you're right. So,
Dream Fairy Lurking is pretty good value here. You can Dream Fairy Lurking, put 2 down, swing with the Bulwark Sword, and kill the Trained Sharpshooter. So you
you can kill up
essentially
the
fix the board?
Yeah. I think
But he does have a Tactful Sergeant, so he could just spend 2, swing and then
Swing,
Tactful
draw,
Sergeant.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna go with the safe play of clearing out everything.
I love the thumbs up confirmation from both players.
It's awesome.
You got it. That's that's good. That's good,
Yeah.
man.
I
Big-
like the
big-
respect,
I'm a big fan.
allies players together.
A big fan.
Yeah.
It was actually interesting because watching Jason Limelight
Yeah.
and Glenny Boy. Glenn.
Yeah, yeah.
Their match, they had a lot of good friendly banner.
Yeah.
I appreciate the mannerisms involved with this, right?
Yeah.
Players are showing a lot of respect for each other. Obviously, this is a super high level, high stakes competition.
It's extremely exclusive as well,
but these are other human beings. And
Yeah.
it's very nice to see that, especially in the GA community as a whole. I
Yeah.
think I've had very few interactions where I didn't like someone after playing a game.
Yeah.
People are pretty nice in this game, and big shout out to you guys in the community
Yeah,
for being
it's-
good people.
It's wholesome. I haven't met, even so far, I haven't met a single person who wasn't just absolutely amazing this weekend. Everyone's so friendly and everyone's so happy to see each other,
Yeah, Clem was so friendly when she talked about my chicken and waffles.
Yeah, it was great. It was worth it.
All right, please heavy swing. Alec, do it. I'm ready.
Come on. Let's
What
go.
did he draw? Let's see.
Uh,
If he drew a rallied advance,
rallied
oh,
advance.
there's no way I just said that. There's no way in the
Yeah.
world I just said if he drew a rallied. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. There's something wrong with me.
just
That's my bad, Alec. My bad.
You jinxed it for him.
Yeah, that's I mean he had a hand of 6 attack cards.
Yeah, yeah.
His deck has 7 attack cards.
He's just got it all, you know. He's just
It's
done. But okay, but heavy swing. I think heavy swing is fine here as long as there is no interceptor on the other side.
yeah, so I mean Matt wants to find a rally the peasants here. He wants to be able to get those swift recruits.
Yep.
When we look at the overall like game plan for Alec though, it's really not that bad. Like you said, heavy swings, right? You can just swing for 6. Just
Yeah.
keep swinging for 6. Eventually, you will get to the point where you kill him, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't draw an ally, you just keep attacking. If you draw an ally, great. You can have some sort of trade opportunity. But for now, we're gonna have to figure out what that is for Alec. He does have the Wind Resonance Bauble on the field. There's Grand Crusader's Ring in his material deck, so it will give him the ability to draw up to 3 cards next turn.
Yeah, yeah. And then that allows him to even play another ally possibility, heavy swing and something else to top it up.
Ooh, interesting. So Matt went Drawn Blade there, banishing the
But,
Zephyr
yeah.
in his memory. So he's gonna be able to get that back when he goes up to Spirit Ruler.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to just cycle some cards because his hand wasn't the most optimal at that point.
Yep. Tactful Sergeant, pretty good value here.
Yeah.
I wonder what he picked up in his memory there, the draw card in the memory. I didn't quite see that.
I couldn't catch it this time either.
We'll probably catch it later.
Hey,
Ooh.
Bulwark.
Whoa. Wait, is he gonna heavy swing for 8?
Maybe.
That might be the play. That might.
think.
Oh no, he drew a Zephyr.
Oh, that's painful.
So Zephyr gonna see the Wind Resonance Bauble. Do we see an ally? Wind Rider Vanguard. I think I just saw the top of her head.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wind Rider Vanguard is an option here. It's not.
Or
the
you can just
worst.
heavy swing.
He could indeed just heavy swing again. Heavy swing killing the Tactful Sergeant is not a horrible play.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, too bad he can't play the Lurking. Man, Dream Fairy is so good. Oh. He's gonna do it.
He is attacking for 8.
Attacking for 8 to face.
That is interesting. I think with a handful of heavy swings, not much can go wrong,
There's actually such good value in him pushing this much damage on Lorraine because Matt doesn't have a Dungeon Guide in hand. So if he levels up, he
Yeah.
goes to 24. A heavy swing is lethal.
Just a heavy swing on
A
its own.
raw heavy swing is lethal.
And I think man might even be like, oh, no way he has it, right? Because it's unlikely that someone has 4 heavy swings in hand.
So one of the interesting things too, so he has 2 heavy swings left in his hand, or in his
Yeah.
memory. He has 2 Rallied Advance in there and the Wind Rider Vanguard.
Yeah.
You could level up to Tenoris 1, taking the risk of banishing the Wind Rider Vanguard.
And just
And-
heavy.
Well, and you don't even need to heavy swing, right? If
Yeah.
if an Interceptor comes out, you can play Wind Rider Vanguard,
Yeah.
attack, Rallied Advance, and attack again.
Oh, this.
So like, there's a lot of different ways to find lethal here.
But Matt does level up, to gain the extra. I'm not sure if it's probably for the extra health,
I mean, at
Yeah,
this point, he
Sasko,
has to.
yeah.
He's 2 off lethal.
He
He
The
died
3
to
cost
a,
2,
he would
3.
die to a sneeze.
yeah.
Oh, Beseech the Winds though. He's gonna be able to go to level 3 if he wants to.
Now that though, yeah. And he could besiege the winds, go to level 3, and have enough for a Pendragon.
Yeah, because he'll get the Drawn Blade
Yeah.
return on enter, and that'll be pretty nice.
It's absolutely possible. I wonder if that's what he's gonna go for here.
That's the play. You gotta just do it. There's not a lot you
Yeah.
can do from there. Is that looking for
I think.
total influence? Total influence of 7 here for
Yeah.
Alec. 2 heavy swings, 2 Rallied Advanced, Wind Rider Vanguard, a Lurking Assailant, and I think an Inspiring Call?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something.
We are going to see the Beseech. Beseech
Yeah.
the wins.
He does go to level 3, and then he will read back the Drawn Blade, draw 1 card, and get to play a Pendragon, putting back, I would guess, Bulwark Sword
Most likely the Drawn Blade.
or Drawn
Probably
Blade.
wants to cycle the Drawn Blade out.
True,
But
true. You get to draw off of it.
It depends on how much value he sees out of keeping a weapon with durability counters. Because like you
Yeah.
said, Bulwark Sword, in this situation only has 1 durability counter left.
Yeah.
So losing it would be pretty detrimental.
Does he want to push damage or draw more cards? I think that's very rough because you don't get to know what you're going to draw until you play Pendragon.
Yeah. The problem is, like, whatever you draw, like, it's got to be Veiling Breeze. But Veiling
Yeah.
Breeze, at best in the situation, you can Veiling Breeze for once you are. We are going to see
yeah,
the Bulwark
it
Sword
is
go back.
Bulwark Sword. And Fairy Whispers and an Ascension. See?
Oh,
It worked out perfectly in the end.
Oh, no, there's no way. An
Oh,
Ascension. Okay, Ascension is spicy.
yeah. Does get to cycle the drum blade like that.
Yeah, Drawn Blade comes in for 3 damage
Yeah,
because it was
because
a
of
level
level
up turn.
2 this turn. Yeah.
Yep.
That is very good. He does Ascension.
Ascension.
What is he gonna get?
For
Yeah,
Prismatic.
Prismatic and
He's gonna reveal 1 win, so he wants the banishment. Ooh.
oh, now this is gonna
It's
gets
gonna be so
interesting.
funny. It's gonna be so funny when he shows this memory. Oh, I gotta. What's the reaction of? Oh, there's
He
no
just
reaction.
nodded. He might-
Stone cold.
Damn. I would give a little huff if there was a
I would have seen the 2 heavy swings and be like, "Excuse me, hello."
what?
Rallied
Alright,
advance is
advance.
gone. Ooh,
Alright.
that's pretty okay for Alec actually.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem right now. Seeing his hand.
I think he's okay. So the risk here is how do you live? You can't find 10 damage lethal in this turn.
Yeah. Well, he can. What he can do is, well, if he goes up to Tonoris level 1, it's still only 20 life.
Yep.
So
There's a lot of damage on field. There's
Yeah,
a lot
there
of damage on
is.
field.
that
There's 8 damage on field.
Yeah,
with
this-
3 cards in hand and a materialization of a Bulwark Sword.
Yeah. Any
And we know he has a Ghost of Pendragon.
yeah. If he didn't know, even then, it's just any single little.
So Tenoris level 1
Freeze.
is dead here. I think you have to play Terrafring.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an out here for Alec. You know, there's not that much interaction. He could draw like a deflecting edge, which would help him.
Yeah. Well, I think if he goes for the Tariff Ring, then then heavy swings, he could theoretically I think he could theoretically get it, because then if he's heavy swings twice.
Scavenging Raccoons. Scavenging Raccoon's kind of good. Get rid of the Ascension, but you know the value overall is not that big.
Yeah. I think here you can just go heavy swing, Tariff Ring to survive, and then heavy swing next turn again.
Oh.
Because if Matt doesn't have any interceptors, that could be enough.
Yeah, it's gonna be up to the 3-card draw here. So we're gonna see Pendragon bounces the Prismatic Edge. We're most likely to see Grand Crusader's Ring, which means we're gonna see 3 cards from that, 1 card from Natural Draw for turn.
Yeah.
4 chances to see rally the
Wasn't
Wait,
lurking under
lurking's under the Dream Fairy.
yeah, yeah.
It's being caught. It's being caught
Okay,
by the stream
okay.
god. They're reverting the game state here.
Yeah. They're just like,
Good catch.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. So we're gonna see
Thank
that.
you,
We're
Judge.
gonna see the odd. It's the same thing. Different.
In the
different color.
end, it ends up the same.
We do see Windrider Vanguard. So Windrider Vanguard sadly does not have Vigor yet due to
Yep.
no class bonus. Currently, we are a level 0 Spirit if we're on Alec's side. But does he
No.
go for it? There's no shot he uses Drawn Blade, right? Yeah, it's too
Yeah.
risky when you have the Pendragon in your memory.
You still get the guaranteed draw
Yeah.
from Ring.
Another thing to mention that I actually forgot to talk about was he has a Fairy Whispers in his hand.
True.
So he actually has another chance to... Oh, there's a Swift Recruit.
All right. Yeah.
Swift Recruit. Game's over.
Yeah. There's.
Grand Crusader's Ring. You play the Swift Recruit, and then you swing the Pendragon into the Windrider Vanguard.
Yeah. I need to just.
Right?
Yeah. Even just face. I think you can do that. You can. Or yeah, it's fair. You can. You have to do the Windrider Vanguard here. You're right. Because then.
Please don't put down. Please. I'm so scared he's gonna put the Swift Recruit into his memory right now.
Yeah, but he saw the heavy swings.
Heavy swing for 8 with Bulwark Sword exists. It is very
Yeah.
scary.
And he just it doesn't have.
Wait.
All right.
Okay. So the reason he hasn't just swung with the Prismatic Edge and with the Ghost of Pendragon is he's afraid of Deflecting Edge.
Yeah.
Right? Deflecting Edge would keep him 1 off lethal.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So he's debating how he plays this. I think he just has to play it fairly defensively.
yeah, he has to be safe. I think Swift Recruit is the best way to go here.
Yeah, so you play your Interceptor, you pay 2 to declare an attack to kill the Windrider Vanguard. And then because you know Alec has the Lurking Assailant and passed a lot of other turns by only playing Heavy Swing, it's very clear he has no other allies. If he plays another ally, he's going to be unable to Heavy Swing.
Yeah.
Well, for the damage necessary in that case, right?
Yeah.
The ally will cost a total of 4 cards in most cases, being a 3-cost, 2-power with 3 life.
Yeah.
So that'll be 4 cards out of his total influence. Then he attacks, and then he doesn't have enough to pay for the heavy swing. He could pay for a bulwark sword for 2, but that wouldn't.
That's
I mean, it
not
would make a
enough.
little bit of a difference, I guess.
But in the long term, I don't think I don't think it's enough. But here, the most the safest play is just going Swift Recruit after seeing what Alec has in his memory. Like, Matt knows that there are 2 heavy swings still. Yeah, okay. So it goes for the Wind Rider Vanguard.
And then 2
Mhm.
down for Swift Recruit, and then chilling, just hanging out.
And just no worries.
Just doing a little sightseeing in Vegas.
yeah. Just
Walking by the beautiful sights of all the different casinos, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Or like, my room, I see an alley. All I
Yeah.
see is
Your
a concrete wall.
the view is beautiful in your room.
Oh.
It's. I wonder why you even have windows there.
That's a good question. I see. I have windows because the window of opportunity here is definitely play the Swift Recruit.
Yeah.
But the long deliberation here from Matt, unsure of what to do. Okay. Oh my
passes.
good lord, he passed.
That's an interesting play.
Holy!
So
I was not expecting that.
6 ring. Yeah.
Yep.
That is
He's gonna crack the ring.
crack the ring. That's his influence is
And
enough.
he's going to heavy swing
Yeah,
with the
heavy
bulwark
swing
sword.
bulwark. That's 8 exactly.
Oh, so he's holding
yeah,
a
it's
Zephyr. Oh, I missed.
Okay.
I
yeah,
missed
yeah,
that
yeah.
he was holding a Zephyr. Actually, that's what. I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was something else.
I also completely missed it.
Would
At
have been
this,
26, and the game's over because of damage on
Yeah.
board.
So
Yeah.
we're going to game 3.
So I guess either
Yeah.
way, Zephyr versus the Swift Recruit.
There's a good-
The
yeah,
logic
multiple.
here is that the Zephyr plays better because Swift Recruit can be countered by smoke bombs.
True.
Right.
True.
True. Matt knows that he doesn't run it in the main, but because this is game 2, he has to
Yes.
he has to take into consideration
Yeah.
that it is an issue for game 2.
You're right.
Right?
You're
So
right.
so Zephyr's a better play. Matt clearly outsmarting us. He is the reason.
Yeah,
he's
he's
here in the top
there,
16,
yeah.
and
We're
we're
just
here
talking
about
about
the
it,
game.
yeah.
Criticizing the plays when he's clearly the master himself.
Yeah, he's been playing this deck for quite a while now. Basically since he got into the world, he started playing Wind Crux allies. So he has the reps in with the deck, even though it's not at big tournaments like with Erupting. He has a lot of experience with this deck, I think.
Actually, this specific deck is not the one he played at regionals or any of
Yeah.
the store champions. It was actually a deck a lot closer to what Alec runs.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he runs level 1 Lorraine and level 1 Snorris, so he has the choice between going.
Yeah,
to
the
either one.
hybrid deck.
Yeah, so level 1 Lorraine in that situation gives him the advantage in non-ally mirrors,
Yep.
whereas Tenoris gives him the advantage in ally mirrors
yeah.
because you can protect your board with the terraforming and such.
Yeah. But I think so. Like, probably in the background he had a lot of reps with this. It's just that he didn't want
Oh,
to spoil
1,000%,
it.
1,000%. I had the opportunity to chat with Matt about it. I think it was 2 days ago or so. He came out to my room and he's like, "Hey, can I borrow a foil?" And I was like, "Oh, sure." Started talking about the deck. He's explaining to me each of the aspects of why he plays certain things. And I guess one of the really cool things is in his deck he's running 3 Academy Guides. He's running 3 Beseech the Winds.
Yeah.
Normally you would want to see 4 Academy Guides. You'd want the consistency of getting it on first turn. Same with the Beseech the Winds in this situation. However, the way that they've built this deck, and I say they as in like Chess Club
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Matt is on a team with Burner,
Burner,
or
yeah.
Eason,
Yeah.
by his first name. They decided to focus on a deck that was less early game and more into the mid game accrued value, which
Yeah.
is why the Hurricane Sweeps and the Dream Fairies are in the sideboard. It's why that they have less Beseech the Winds and Academy Guide.
Yeah.
And they went more for the Cruxites, right?
Yeah.
Cruxite gives them once you start Ascension looping somebody, you are absolutely destroying their influence. You are gaining influence. It is just
It's great.
It's something that you can't deal with very easily.
Yeah. But now we're on to game 3 here in round 4. With Alec went at first, and it seems he has a pretty solid hand.
Is that Gildas?
Yeah, he has a Gildas. He has a Sea King shot. He has.
I
Zephyr.
actually I know this is crazy, but I thought that was a peaceful reunion at first, and then I realized why would that be a peaceful
That would be
reunion?
very odd. That would be a choice, definitely. When
Ooh, good start.
That is.
Dungeon Guide, double Fairy Whisper, Swift Recruit, and a Tactical
And-
Sergeant.
Yeah, I think this is and Hurricane Sweep, isn't it? Or
And
Zephyr.
a Zephyr?
I think it's Hurricane Sweep, but I think this is Matt's best opening hand in this round so far.
Yeah. So looking at Alec's board here, Gildas is actually a really good opener.
Yeah.
So the reason Alec that it's such a good opener is because Gildas has something called balance. So Gildas gets +3 power as long as the amount of cards in your hand and your memory are equal. Now this applies when you retaliate as well. So
Yes.
if Gildas is awake on turn 1 with a balanced memory, you're able to retaliate for 4, and that's like a
Yeah.
pretty big deal.
It's basically a 1-for-1 if something attacks. If they try to remove Gildas.
Yeah, so we're gonna see just a little swift recruit and pass here from Matt.
Yeah. This is what we talked about earlier with why Swift Recruit is a good play early game. Because either now, Alec has to give basically a free level up to Matt, or somehow they're just not attack, they miss out on damage.
Yeah, one of the other things that's worth mentioning when it comes to Gildas specifically and the Scavenging Raccoons setup is Scavenging Raccoons lets you... Oh, he just... he had it already in hand, but I was
Yeah.
like, holy, he just top decked a Scavenging Raccoon.
Yeah.
So this could be a Seeking Shot into a Scavenging Raccoon.
That could definitely be interesting. But I think he can also
I think
balance.
with the bobble, he's able to balance in that
Yeah.
case.
So he can kill Swift Recruit, attack for 4
Yep.
4 with Gildash, and then still go with Raccoon and take the
Yup.
recruit out of
He's
the
going to
graveyard.
Raccoon him. It's happening.
Yeah.
Goodbye, your floating memory.
This is the weakness of Swift Recruit here.
So the Scavenging Raccoons in main is honestly a good call for Alec, right?
Yeah.
It allows him to play into Merlin better, which is something that's more popular in the Southeast Asia and Oceania regions.
Yep.
As seen by, the players here today, we do have quite a few Merlins, actually.
Yeah. And like the nationals, Southeast Asian nationals is also mostly Merlins. And then that's why Jason or Lime had such an extra easy time. He knew the meta and he came prepared for it.
Yeah, so that's a very comfortable first turn here for Matt is going to be denied entirely by Alec, right?
Yeah.
Scavenging Raccoons, exactly what he wanted to do here.
Yeah, that was probably, I think that's why Alec wasn't even really bothered by the Swift Raccoon. He already had a Raccoon in hand. He had his
So we're gonna
turn
be rolling
planned.
for Banish here. Going to be going
Yes.
level 1.
One,
Tactical Sergeant
yeah.
goes away.
Oh, interesting. Maybe he has another one. I might have caught the corner of another tactful there. Gets the
Bulwark
Bulwark
Sword.
Sword, yeah. I think he regretted on game 1 when he didn't get the Bulwark Sword immediately.
The Bulwark Sword in this situation is because Alec has no interaction in his hand,
Yeah.
no sword in his hand, so he can actually just Hurricane Sweep for 3 and kill the whole board.
True.
We're
And
gonna see pre-recollection. Ooh, that's a fantastic one.
that's a stacked.
Wait. That's fantastic. He
Yeah.
can take the Beseech, draw a card,
Oh,
and then he's not taking
it's
it.
not.
I was gonna say he could level up into a sweep if he wanted to, I think.
but he's just taking the sweep.
Yeah.
Interesting though. Well, double sweep is not the bad here.
Yeah, so we're
Just
gonna see
interesting.
the next Fairy Whispers in this
Yeah.
situation.
2, 3.
Ooh, reclaim with
Reclaim.
Ghost on top. Oh my goodness.
That's
He has the
good.
Dungeon Guide in his hand, right?
Yeah, he has a Dungeon Guide
Oh,
in
so
his
he
hand.
has every piece of the puzzle right now.
Yeah.
So the reclaim
Can
reclaim
just-
you have to leave on top so that you can draw the card, and then
Yeah.
did he leave the Dungeon Guide up there?
Yeah,
as well?
he left. Maybe he wants
Interesting.
to double Dungeon Guide, maybe?
It's possible. So we're gonna see the draw for turn here.
Oh yeah. Fairy Whispers is a fast card. I
Yeah,
sometimes
so we're
forget.
just gonna see a
Sweep.
raw Hurricane Sweep here for 3
Yeah.
using the Bulwark Sword.
And yeah, the 2 being 2, 4. The extra damage from Bulwark, so that is 3 to
I'm a
everything.
big fan of the 6-cost Hurricane Sweep. It's it's like a title sweep,
Yeah,
you know.
but it is.
I mean, it basically did become a title sweep in this situation.
Yeah.
Without the floating, I guess it does more damage, but there's also no floating memory.
Yeah.
Because that's totally what title sweep needed was the class bonus floating memory advantage there. Alec with the potential value on the board, where you're gonna see Grand Crusader's Ring there alongside the Wind Resonance Bauble.
All the card draw. You
The Banishment, push that away. Seeking
Who
Shot. Does
needs-
he have 2? Does he have all 3 of his raccoons? Oh, this is not looking good for him. He needs allies right now, and he's
It's
not
the-
finding
yeah.
them.
And draw.
Oh, an Inspiring Call. Oh, no,
Shimmer
Cloak.
Cloak. Shimmer Cloak.
Shimmer Cloak. Okay, Shimmer Cloak is good.
That's
That's
not
saved.
bad.
Saved. The only downside to the Shimmer Cloak is that the only downside of the Shimmer Cloak is if he plays it, Matt could just go level 2 and then
And
kill
it-
it immediately with a Sword of Seeking.
Yeah. Also, it just a sweep, you know?
True, true.
A sweep also just easily gets in. Which is, you know, but I wouldn't expect, if I was Alec, I wouldn't expect another sweep for a bit because Matt only plays 3. He also did dig very deep with
So he
Fair
actually
Whispers.
he does have double Dungeon Guide.
Yeah. He doesn't have enough cards right now to do Dungeon Guide. But it's interesting. I'm interested to see what he's gonna do here.
No Besiege, potentially just level up to 2, get the kill on the Aeson Protector.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Alright.
he is going to do that.
Yeah.
Just praying in his case here that he doesn't banish both Dungeon Guides. If he
Yeah.
banishes both Dungeon Guides, it's going to be pretty rough.
Ascension.
An Ascension.
And
For Drawn Blade.
Drawn
Interesting.
Blade. Okay.
Not
So
going
he
for the level up.
cycled the card there.
Okay.
That is unexpected. And another Reclaim. Well, he has a bunch of floating memory, but
So we're going to see most likely Reclaim plus Dungeon Guide. He might put the second Dungeon Guide down.
yeah. Well, if he has Reclaim to, you know, get back the second Dungeon Guide,
Yep.
with the first Dungeon Guide, then you don't care that much about the first Dungeon Guide going
Yeah,
away.
the only
like one of
downside to
them.
that would be that, Alec has played. He knows Alec has a Scavenger Records
Yeah.
because he used the Aeson to bounce it back. So the on-enter, return an ally you control back.
But he used the Reclaims to level up with Dungeon Guide here. So,
oh, 2
both of them
Reclaims.
go.
Okay.
well, they did their job, I think.
We're going to see Lorraine level 2. Dungeon
Yeah.
Guide swings for 1. Here it is.
And then
Drawn Blade for
Yep.
3. That'll
And
be
then-
on kill, draw card.
he gets a Dungeon Guide again immediately if he wants, but
Yep.
it's a bit risky, but not impossible, you know? I think his-
Overall good value against Alec. That Hurricane Sweep, level 1 Hurricane Sweep is very underrated. And,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think it's one of those things where, like, if you're willing to put your whole hand down against someone who has a Hurricane Sweep, a Flame Sweep, you're really showing a lot of disrespect to that, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, you don't have it. There's no way you have it.
Yeah,
If you had it,
you would have.
there's no way you have it.
Yeah.
I mean,
This-
he plays it and he goes, "There's no way you have it."
Yeah, yeah.
There's no other real way to look at that.
Yeah, I think Bulwark Sword really shook up everything there. You know, this that you can just easily sweep for 3 in level 1. It's not a problem when you're Lorraine.
Oh, Bulwark Sword
Bulwark
here.
Sword on other side as well. It's no.
I actually like this a decent amount. I like Shimmer Cloak Rallied Advance combo. I'm a really big fan of it, especially
Mm.
knowing that Alec runs Poison Coating Oil in his main. However, I don't think Matt's going to be worried about that. He has another Hurricane Sweep. He could use it with the Bulwark Sword.
Yeah.
Or even just with a Sword of Seeking, something simple.
Yeah. It's. I think. See. I think the big difference here is Alec doesn't mind staying on Spirit. You know, he's a not class oriented deck. While for Alex, like for Matt, it's very important he goes up. And I think that's where he also gains some advantage because it's a lot, the higher your level, the harder it is to kill you. And I think Alex also very comfortable.
He's actually going to
Seeking
Seeking Shot the
Shot.
Dungeon Guide. I believe this is going to be a Zephyr.
Yeah,
Nope, he's going to
Nope.
let it die. Doesn't want to waste the card.
yeah. Oh yeah, he has the other one in hand, so it doesn't matter too much. But only matters in pushing damage, and he doesn't have a Banner Knight or Phalanx Captain in hand, so right now it's not very important. And a Shimmer Cloak, just for good measure.
Shimmer Cloak could just die outright, but it's probably
Yeah.
going to stay on the field for at least 2 turns in this situation. I don't see Matt wanting to Hurricane Sweep. Most likely going to go for something that gives value. Grand Crusader's Ring would be fantastic here.
That's where he goes.
Yep,
The
so-
reliable one, I think.
Whoa! Is that the 4th Reclaim of the game?
I think it's just the third.
Just the 3rd. Oh, Reclaim. And another Dungeon Guide. Well, that's kind of...
It's just the third dungeon guide of the game for
value.
sure. Yeah,
Because you want to hold the Reclaim as well, because you can use it for your Ghost of Pendragon. So
yeah.
that's good value there. So we're
Uh,
going to Dungeon Guide to level 3 here.
yeah.
Take the Banishment. Bring back the Drawn Blade.
Blade,
Draw
draw.
on enter for the Drawn Blade.
And then use the ghost to bounce back, probably Bulwark again.
Yeah, most
Draw
likely.
2 more.
But
It's pretty good.
It may change depending on if he draws an Ascension here.
True.
But I mean, the Bulwark goes back regardless, but it makes me wonder if he would use the... Oh, that's a Dream Fairy in
That's a
hand.
Dream Fairy.
Dream Fairy on the Shimmer Cloak is pretty good.
But also, I think we're at the point where his math is ahead enough where he doesn't, he's not worried about the Shimmer Cloak anymore.
He also could have just Hurricane Sweep there,
Yeah,
but I think he wants to hold on to it in case
Just in-
Alec has
Yeah.
an attempt at trying to refill the board.
yeah, he runs away. And yeah, goes, going back to Drawn Blade. So I guess he's gonna go for the card draw here.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that
okay,
is
that's,
the fourth
that's the fourth
reclaim.
reclaim of the game.
And another Dream Fairy, I think. That's a hand.
Yeah, so Matt's hand was actually really good for this game.
Yeah. I think he started out in a good spot and still is in a very good spot.
Overall, I've really enjoyed watching these two decks play against each other. Right, like when
Yeah.
we look at Alex's hands, like he had the 4 heavy swing starting hand, and
Yeah.
he almost closed it out too. He
Yeah.
was really close.
Yeah, if he just needed a bit more protection, it would have been awesome. I think this mirror is definitely very interesting. I enjoy it because there's a lot of things happening all the time, and every draw is it enough? Is it good?
Come on, Matt, you gotta roll 1 through 4, not 1 through 6.
Yeah. The
Goodbye,
Ace and
Ace and
Protector
Protector.
goes away. It's pretty sad.
Draw for turn is gonna be an Attune the Winds.
Now, does he Dream Fairy the Pendragon here?
Dream Fairy Pendragon is pretty good value, but Matt
Yeah.
has 3 cards in hand and could just Zephyr it in response.
Yeah, but do you risk it? Because I would.
Well, when it comes back, you bounce the Bulwark Sword, and then you draw 2 again.
Yeah.
And then you bring out a Sword of Seeking. You hit you Hurricane Sweep with it.
Yeah.
And then you bounce it again with something else.
Yeah, and then you get to pay your Pendragon again as well.
Low key, that value would be insane for Matt. He would get.
Yeah.
It would be game over almost instantly from there.
Yeah, it's hard to recover from drawing so many cards.
Well, because I mean, this turn, what Alex trying to do is he's trying to get cards out there so that he's able to utilize Tenora's Taunt.
Yeah.
But the problem is Matt has Hurricane Sweep, so if he Hurricane Sweeps and takes out everything on the board,
Yeah, it doesn't matter what taunt there is. It's just
because he could even break the Bulwark Sword and that would be totally fine.
yeah.
But if it does come out with the Dream Fairy targeting,
I did
he's
read
gonna
the Dream Fairy.
he's gonna Zephyr in response. Oh, he's
Or
reclaim. He's gonna
The
reclaim.
reclaim.
Okay, that's
But now
oh
he gets to get Drawn Blade for free even.
yep. Drawn Blade for free.
And
Draw a
then-
card.
Yeah, but put it back with Pendragon. Draw 2 more cards.
Yep. And then you can just Hurricane Sweep with the Bulwark Sword because
Yeah.
you don't actually need the sword anymore in this case.
Yeah, you have everything you want. And draw the card. Oh, it's Ascension.
That's the funny things happening. The funny things
the
about to
thing.
happen.
The thing.
So here's the Ascension. Drawn Blade into Prismatic Edge. Alex gonna lose a card from memory. Matt's gonna go neutral on it.
Yeah. Well, or
Potentially Hurricane Sweep for 4
oh,
with the Prismatic Edge.
that would be spicy. What? Ascension. Putting back Bulwark. Then
Okay.
he's definitely getting Prismatic.
Yeah, so
here.
he's gonna
yeah.
Hurricane. I think he's gonna Hurricane Sweep with the Prismatic Edge.
Yeah.
It's just too valuable. If he shows his hand here, I'm pretty sure Alec might scoop. Like there is a very low chance he's coming
Yeah.
back.
And Alec is not scooping. Doo-doo-doo. And the raccoon goes
Raccoon.
away. Yeah.
Demonic raccoons, the trash pandas.
A poor unfortunate soul.
So it's gonna be a draw for turn. Oh, Banner Knight. Banner Knight.
Yeah, I don't think Alec has an out here anymore.
So this is what two down for Pendragon,
Pendragon.
bouncing the Drawn Blade.
Draw a bunch.
You draw 2.
Yeah. Okay. Matt, so 2 cards in
Two
hand.
cards in hand.
I wonder what Matt is thinking. Maybe
Double Deflecting Edge exists, but I mean Hurricane Sweep is such good value. You just kill everything on the board. You chill. You're not
Yeah.
even close to being dead. You have 14 life counters on you.
Yeah, you're halfway,
Pendragon bounce the
Nice
Drawn Blade.
draw 2.
Draw 2. Let's see what he gets. So
Veiling
Veiling
Breeze
Breeze.
and-
All right. So yeah. So now you
Okay.
two down for Banner Knight,
Yeah.
and then you 2 down to sweep.
Yeah.
2 down to
it's-
sweep for 5. Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, that's 5 to everything.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
That's rough.
board is cleared. Yeah.
Yep. And that's going to be 4, putting him at
4.
17. It's
Yeah.
exactly
It's
lethal.
it's
exactly
lethal, yeah. Oh, but he has a deflecting edge in hand. Is he gonna just? Would he just wait until now?
Yeah, he's gonna play the deflecting edge for 1 hell. I mean, there's no way Alec loses more
there,
from here. So
there's.
this is gonna be a 2-1 here for Matt.
Yeah, I don't think Alec has any outs at this point.
If Matt had like 1 card in his hand, maybe you could make it happen. But in this situation, like Terrafring's not gonna save him.
Yeah.
A level up is barely gonna save. Yeah, he's just losing everything.
Okay, so he's just gonna attack for 6.
Yeah,
It's not enough, unfortunately.
I'm gonna swing for 6. Let's be the 20. GG.
GG.
And Alec calls it. He just wanted the good big swing.
Yeah,
He wanted
yeah.
to bring out the Tenoris level 2
Yeah.
Might of Humanity CSR there. And
It's
that's
very pretty, you know.
that's gonna be that's it. That's
Yeah.
round 4. So Matt
That's right.
Garcia gonna be moving up to 3-1. Alec going down to 2-2.
Yeah. So
But
Alec
still
has
able to get
win.
in.
Yeah, Alec has to win just 2 more, and then he's in to day 2. Matt is 1 win away right now. It's definitely exciting, and I think this round is where we see our first guaranteed day 2s. You know,
Yep.
sad standings.
Yeah, that's for sure. So once we are able to see the standings in this case, anyone with 4 wins is going to be very clearly moving into
Yeah.
day 2. Big change here with day 2 is going to be that you have the ability to change your deck list.
Yes, it's just exciting. I wonder how many of them are gonna change their lists, and if so, are they gonna switch to what we expected from them originally? You know?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't speak on that.
Yeah.
I know too much. I know
yeah,
too much.
I haven't been able to speak to anybody, but yeah, the only person here whose deck list like was exactly what I expected is Jason, is Limelight. His, good old reliable Diana, but even his deck has some surprises. It's like Demon's Aim
Yeah, Demon's Aim.
is a great card.
I ignore your Majestic Spirit.
Yeah,
I
like,
ignore
oh.
your Stalwart Shieldmate.
Yeah, don't mind if I just don't even look at it. Yeah, it's very good, and I like Demon's Aid. I mean, the 3 Seafaring Mercenaries and the 3 other water allies in
3
Issa's
humans.
deck. Yeah.
3 water humans is
Yeah.
essentially what it is. But yeah, one of the really cool things is that it's gonna be untimed. We're gonna be seeing
Yep.
all of the games. But,
Yeah, it's exciting.
But thank you guys so much for being here for the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
We're gonna be coming back to a 5-minute break. But thank you guys for, I guess, just being a part of the GA community.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Grand Archive World Championships.
Yeah.
My name is Cam from the Lineage Break podcast, and I'm here with Mark from Solar Games. Hey,
Correct.
Mark.
Yes.
How you
Hey,
doing?
Hey, Cam. How you doing?
Happy to be here. Very exciting.
Excited. Yep. We rested whole day, so we can give the audience the
Right, maximum energy.
shout, the full shout, right?
Yeah, we definitely have a very exciting one coming up. A couple of players that we have not had on stream yet. We're going to have Christian Tom versus Wilson Yip.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, the matchup looks pretty straightforward, right? We've seen a lot of Merlin today. We've seen a lot of Rise.
Right.
So we're going to see a Merlin versus Rai and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an interesting mage v mage matchup.
Correct. Yeah.
And these can really go either way. Like, I think that Rai is the more explosive deck.
Yep.
But if Merlin gets to, sort of hang on and get to
Yeah.
that late game, she can really take over with stuff like Incarnate Majesty and even, big fireballs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to take a look at Christian's introduction.
Hi, my name is Christian. I'm from the Bay Area. I kind of went to Nationals only hoping to trade in my first promo. And I'm like, oh, here I am in day 2. Oh, here I am in top 8. So
Here you are winning. Like
yeah, everything else is kind of a bonus, It's like I'm not expecting anything. It's already really cool to be here.
Mm.
My favorite card in GA is Mistbound Cutthroat. Not necessarily for the art, but mainly for the mechanics. One day that card will be good. Why do I play Grand Archive? For the people. Like 99% of people I met playing this game are fantastic humans. Yeah, they're all super kind. Not a lot of rule sharking or like toxic competitiveness. It's all in good fun. I wish Sylvie was more competitive. I'm sure it's a pretty common answer, but it's not just because I necessarily like Sylvie, but I think there's a lot of people I meet playing this game when I ask and they say, yeah, I want to play Sylvie, and I have to let them down.
I'm so sorry.
A very wholesome interview from Christian, playing
right.
for the people.
For the people.
This is our U.S. national champion, and playing something different from what he's known for that sort of Water Allies deck. He's going the mage route, playing some arcane spells.
Yeah, Christian's one of my locals, and I swear, this is probably the first time I've ever seen him play Rai.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, but, I mean, Christian's a very good player. Probably any deck, right? So,
Right.
yeah, and looking at the list, I mean, he's obviously making a meta call here
Mhm.
for what he thinks is going to be going to the Worlds match here. But pretty standard deck list, obviously, but a little bit more focus on the advent of Stormcaller here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting inclusion of the 4 copies of Gloamspire as well, which is something we've seen one other deck doing in this tournament.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at Wilson.
Hi, I'm Wilson from Card Merchant from New Zealand. So a few of us were here for the World Championship. Yeah, and exciting to be here. I actually know about Grand Archive all the way from Kickstarter. I didn't back it, unfortunately, but as a store owner in New Zealand, yeah, we push lots of games really hard, and Grand Archive is one that we see potential in terms of everything. For myself, it wasn't until after Ascent Auckland in December, and then I was vending there, I was selling things there, and then I meet all these cool people like Caben from True Champion Gamings and everyone from around the country, and we got like 120 players or something. I was like, wow, this is pretty good for the first year, especially for a small country like New Zealand, right? So, and then I just decided to give it a try. I was like, I just want to build up the community, know how to play, but then after that, I got into it competitively, and here I am.
If you can cosplay any Grand Archive character,
Yeah.
character, ally, unit, item, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What would you pick, or who would it be?
Probably Lorraine, everyone. I think she is the one who kind of attracted me to kind of give this game a go. I think that this character design is quite nice. Yeah, with a sword is a bonus. For me, when I play this kind of fantasy RPG and stuff, I usually choose bows or swords, but there's not really a champion with a bow yet for now. So yeah, Lorraine.
All right, so here we have Wilson's Fire Merlin deck. Mark, I know you're a bit of a Merlin player yourself. Is there anything interesting you see about this list?
Yeah, well, 2 Incarnate Majesty here for sure.
Yeah.
1 Ascension, right? So usually this is the card that you go 0 of or 4 of, but 1 is a really interesting inclusion here. The other part that's really interesting about this list is the absolute respect for allies.
Yeah,
Right?
lots of removal, stuff like Focus Flames, the 2 Incendiary Fractals, a classic.
I wonder if that's speaking something about the local meta there, right? So definitely kind of interesting there too. But otherwise, yeah, you're told, normal fanfare. You got the fireballs, you got the cremation rituals, creative shocks, just anywhere that leads you to that late game.
Right.
And then, get your fireball set up, slowly get incremental gains, and then win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're going to go down to our players here and get our match started. Yeah, I wonder if Wilson, with, like you said, so much respect for these allies decks, is going to struggle with some of these matchups like here, these Incendiary Fractals, these Focus Flames really aren't going to find very many targets against Christian.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Christian is going to be going first, and he is doing some Serene Fire things, glimpsing 6.
That's right.
Going to get a little bit of a mulligan here.
Yep. So he is taking a look. Okay, and he is looking. There's a dungeon guide already in hand, so that's great. Creative shock that he can use, and then yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like he just passed it back over to Wilson. Wilson similarly looks like he found a dungeon guide as well. Maybe some creative shocks pulled to the front there. Definitely what these players are looking for in these early game turns are to set up a way to level up easily into their very powerful late game level 3 champions.
Yeah, definitely eyeing that creative shock, the CPR there. Sorry, the promo version. Yeah, and he does have 2, Flame Room Swordsman as well. So Hasty goes down, discarding the Flame Room, and then draws a card, draws another Flame Room. There's 1 Flame Room down in the memory so far. So he has 3 Flame Rooms, but no easy floating memory for level 1.
Yeah, and in these matchups, especially against Christian playing a slower deck, these Flame Room Swordsmen can come down onto the board and start to actually do some damage.
Oh, that's a pretty spicy draw, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Voltaic, yeah. And then Creative Shock goes into the bin, and then, of course, he's going to go to level 1 here.
Yeah, so he's just going to discard that Voltaic Sphere to set it up for later. Has that extra advantage. Just trying to get as cleanly up to Rye level 3 as possible. We're going to see a careful study here, banish to level up to Rye Spellcrafter.
Yep. He does also have an increasing danger in hand, so that looks like a pretty good play now, too.
Right you are. Going to play that increasing danger. Get a little bit of card advantage for himself.
And he sees a Scry the Sky as well, right? And that could be... yeah. Of course, just pass directly back to Wilson. So Wilson is also going to banish 1.
Yeah, both these players just trying to level up as soon as possible. We're going to see Lorraine level 1 come in, grab herself a sword.
I see. So Wilson has all the CPRs, but it's not in his material deck, so he swaps them in and out like this. Yeah, it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you got to bring your best, especially at the World Championship, right?
It's the max rarity game.
Right. You got to intimidate your opponent with your CUR number 1, Lorraine.
right.
If we don't know what number he is, we're going to see a Creative Shock. Looks like it's cast here.
Yep. The second Flame Room goes in there, and he's laughing because he knows there's 1 more in hand.
Right.
Yeah. But at least he can use it now, right? So that's kind of fun. That leads him into a nice little level 2 on the next turn.
Yeah, just very efficient here, finding a lot of floating memory, setting up his levels very cleanly, and that's exactly what you want. You want to get to Merlin as soon as possible, start taking advantage of her very powerful level up effect.
Yeah. Hasty swings in. On attack, trigger. Okay, he's going to discard the Vanguard and draw a card.
It looks like we found 3 floating memory already.
Yeah.
So like you said, he's going to get a very clean level up to Merlin 2, and then he's getting pretty close to getting a clean one to level 3 as well. I think that both players have access to Dungeon Guide right now.
Yeah, and also normally, right, you don't want to be putting that many floating into Graveyard. But in this case, it seems like it's fairly safe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Looks like a cremation ritual is going to pick up that Hasty Messenger. She's done enough work. We're going to send her to the pyre, draw
right.
2 more cards.
Yeah. Now, normally, you could also leave the Hasty on board to do more filtering. Why do the cremation in this specific point right now?
You know, maybe we've seen enough floating access from our Merlin player here, and so maybe they're just really valuing those extra cards, being able to play a Dungeon Guide hopefully on the next turn. Looks like they even have another hasty
hasty
to just keep that
Yeah.
filtering train rolling.
But I think you're right. He does hasty on trigger on attack, discards another hasty,
Right.
meaning he's really undervaluing those hasties right now. Probably looking for more Crux card if he is trying to go to level 3 or ready to go to level 3 now, right?
Yeah, he's found some really efficient early game stuff, but he has to start converting that into his more powerful late game
Yeah.
spells. So we're going to see a level up here into Rye Spellcrafter, getting a couple of those arcane cards into Banished. Anyone
Yeah.
who is not familiar with how this Rye deck works is level 3 Rye, in this case, is going to give you an extra level for each arcane action card in your Banished. So they're looking to banish as many of those arcane cards as possible. And off to a good start here.
Yeah, absolutely. So normally with Rye too, right? There's a lot of plays where you are trying to just banish directly from memory because that's where your arcane card is going to be.
Yeah.
Floating is actually less useful in this case, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to make stuff like level 2 Merlin Memory Thief here a little bit less impactful because there isn't a whole lot of that floating, like you said, to interact with. Even the arcane cards like Voltaic Sphere that are in Christian's graveyard here could be banished, and he loses a little bit of value for that, but you're just adding to that level of level 3 Rye.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is a Voltaic Sphere also in the graveyard.
Right.
Which I guess Merlin, you're thinking about Merlin potentially going to target and eat that as
She
an
could.
option? Okay.
He loses a little bit of value
Yeah.
because he does have the ability to banish it from his own graveyard to make one of his arcane cards cost less, but it still doesn't feel great, right?
Yeah, yeah. Not as good as gaining a level.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, Dungeon Guide.
So yeah, just going to go straight up to Merlin. Oh, so it looks like he
So
is going to
his
eat.
own.
Yeah, so
the level.
smart.
Yeah. Now, why would you eat the memory now to gain the level when you right before you do the Dungeon Guide level up?
So the most powerful part here of Merlin Kingslayer is at the beginning of your recollection step, she gets a level counter, and then if those level counters are even, you draw a card and her attacks get +2 for the turn.
Yeah.
So if he can set up this first level counter, it means on his next recollection step, he's going to be able to get that card draw immediately.
Yeah. Plus, also, I mean, the 2 electro attack is nothing to scuff at.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, swings in with a Dungeon Guide. So Christian's thinking here. He hasn't laid out any card on his turn. He passed it directly.
Yeah, we're going to see a bit of a slow start from Rye.
Yeah.
It's usually how these Rye games look. He doesn't do a whole lot. Then he has this big burst of action cards that he's going to look to activate.
There you go. One more swing. Discards a Pendragon.
Oh, wow. He
Why?
must have a terrific hand.
Unfortunately,
here, right?
it's hard. It's yeah. He's not showing his hand on stream, but yeah, you're probably right. If he's discarding Pendragons, he must have another one. There you go.
Yeah, so we are going to see that Ghost of Pendragon, draw 2 cards. But man, Mark, that's crazy to discard a Ghost here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would keep all the Ghost Pendragons I would have, but yeah, it's a very interesting play for sure.
He's just really valuing putting on that pressure,
Yeah.
and maybe he has something like an Incarnate, and Incarnate Majesty is so powerful in a matchup like this.
Yeah.
Basically turns off Rye until they can deal with it,
Yeah.
so maybe he's really valuing digging as much as possible to find that Incarnate.
Yep. All right, Christian going for the Quicksilver Grail. Okay, draws a card, and there's the Peaceful, but it's a little bit late. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like you're going to see that Peaceful gone down for the payment of this Dungeon Guide. Going to get a couple of these banished. He's hoping to hit arcane cards, maybe hit that Peaceful that's not looking so useful now.
Oh, yep, Peaceful, and another, is that a Careful Study there, too?
Yeah, that's kind of brutal here. He's not found a whole lot of arcane cards.
Yep.
Rye's only going to be level 5 right now, which is really not what you're looking for. The break point that you really want on Rye Storms here is like level 8, which allows you to cast Careful Studies for
There
free.
you go. This is how you turbo it. Yeah, he cracks the Quicksilver Grail for the book, and then pays for the book with the Eradicated Bolt, which gets him 4 more levels really with the book. And now, the Sphere goes in there too.
Yeah. And just like that, we've seen him go from level 5 to level 7 now.
There you go.
Or level 8 now, and he's going to get access to that Careful Study for free, just like we said. So that's going to give him 6 Enlightenment counters as is his first action
Do
card.
it again.
Wow, he's going to see another one.
Yeah. So I guess banishing 2 is okay because he had a lot more in hand.
Yeah, so he has a ton of Enlightenment here. He's up to 13 Enlightenment counters, and for those of you who are not aware how those work, you can remove 3 Enlightenment counters from your champion to draw a card. So he's just going to convert these Careful Studies into raw card advantage.
Yeah.
We're going to see a really big Scry the Skies here. Scry the Skies can be used sort of to find whatever you need, he's going to look at 8 cards, and that is going to give him a really good chance of finding whatever type of silver bullet here he's looking for.
That's right. And he's going to scry first before he burns his enlightenment counters.
Yeah.
Because that Voltaic Sphere's ability is still there. It's for the next arcane card. He has not casted arcane card yet.
Yeah, so smart here. It's great to see this sort of Rube Goldberg machine get moving and all of these pieces come together. He still has 10 enlightenment counters that he can cash in for some additional card draw. Like you had said, he still has that Voltaic Spheres floating. Do you what do you think he's looking for here? Like an advent to the Stormcaller? Or?
I think he does. I think in his scry he saw 2 arcane blasts. Unfortunately, this is not the right time.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but he can really set up his turn here. This is the key thing about Rai, right? There's a lot of ideas here of how you set up your next couple draws, because he can go, is that 10 enlightenment counters that he has
10,
currently?
yeah.
Yeah, so he can go 3 cards deep, right? Well, 4 really, with the scry drawing the 1 against the memory, yeah. So he can really start prepping up next couple turns.
So yeah, maybe he wants to look to set up these arcane blasts and go for something next turn. He's not under a whole lot of pressure here, which is something that Rai doesn't usually have the benefit, right, of having a fairly pressure light situation.
Correct, yeah. Okay, so it looks like arcane cards goes on top, non-arcane cards goes on the bottom.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Here we go. Okay, scry goes in the graveyard.
And then we're going to see this Tome of Sacred Lightning come out, banishing the Tome of Knowledge as a cost to activate it out of your material deck. And then he's going to banish one of these cards at random to draw a card, hopefully another arcane card.
Oh, it was the Resolute Stand.
Yeah, going to send that to banished.
Okay. And draws a Careful Study. There you go.
Yeah, so he has perfect information here, right? Like he knows what the top X cards of his deck are, so he's going to look to manipulate those in the way that benefits him the most.
Yeah. And really, the only card that he did not know or was going to be banished was the banished card. So,
right.
Yeah. Now he's going to draw his cards. There's the arcane cards going to hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like that, Rai went from casting no. So it looks like we are going to see this peaceful reunion.
Yeah.
So I guess it wasn't too late after all.
And Wilson's having a great time. He's just kind of laughing. You know, it's wonderful, right? Because a lot of these Rai turns turn out to be like this, right?
Right.
It looks like, hey, he's really behind, and suddenly the guy's up 5 levels, playing arcane cards, getting like another regalia. I mean, he's just doing everything. And then, of course, saying, hey, I'm going to fog next turn as well.
Right. Yeah, hey, you also don't get to do much on your turn. But thankfully, Merlin's got a few tricks up her sleeve. We'll see if we see any.
Okay, Crux Sight for the Pendragon.
Oh, wow. So maybe this is why we saw that discard of the Ghost Pendragon to the Hasty Messenger, is because he had access to this Crux Sight. Such a heads-up play here from Wilson, just getting the absolute maximum value out of all of the cards at his disposal.
Yeah, and you mentioned value. That's 100% what he's trying to do, right? Get the other Pendragon in now and then bounce more swords, draw more cards. Yeah, especially if he's going to have to take a turn off, right? Yeah. What are those? I mean, does Wilson have the setup for the kill currently in hand? I guess we haven't really seen the hand.
It's going to be a pretty tall order, but definitely not out of the realm of possibility. He is going to get that second level counter on Merlin Kingslayer. Going to draw an additional card and fireballs that up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So he could find something as easy as a couple of fireballs here, and each one is going to be for 6. So if he can string together a couple of those, or even resolve something like an Incarnate Majesty, he can feel pretty safe.
Yep.
But as you had mentioned when we were looking at deck lists, only 2 Incarnates in the list.
It is interesting, but I guess in this position, would you rather have a Fireball or would you rather have an Incarnate Majesty?
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? It really depends on the rest of your hand. The one Fireball alone, probably not enough to get it done.
Yeah.
But you can never feel safe against this Rai deck, right?
Yeah. All right, Wilson's going to go for the Creative Shock, discarding the Cremation Ritual, and pulls out a Sacred Amulet for the Materialization.
Just a little bit of safety. It's going to be a bit of a roadblock for Christian to get through.
Yeah, recollect and then draw. Now, the Safeguard Amulet does add a couple more, I guess, protection against maybe Arcane Blast turn next turn.
Right. Yeah, a little bit of safety, and especially, again, if we compare this with something like an Incarnate, that can be the sort of 1-2 punch that you need to sort of lock Rai out of killing you at least for a turn or 2.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's just going to consider his options. That's the thing about these Merlin decks. He has, 11, 12 influence right now?
He's thinking. He's thinking really hard, yeah. And the funny thing is, I believe he started the turn with a 7 influence.
Right.
But because of all the different card draws he has and card filtering, he's up to quite a bit more now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes those decisions really hard, and any misstep can be, pretty fatal. The Rye deck is very, very explosive. Even this Merlin deck, both extremely explosive. We are going to see, it looks like that Incendiary Fractal is going to come into play.
Yep.
Deal with this Dungeon Guide, perhaps.
Yeah. And maybe also potentially for more of a setup for next turn as well.
Yeah.
Since he's peaceful this turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Taking a turn off, setting up a Fractal.
Yeah.
But he's going to consider his options.
Yeah, he is going to be trying to push more damage, of course, and he's doing some sort of counting.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he's looking for potentially a lethal line, or maybe on the other way. He's saying, do you have me dead here? What level are you?
Yeah.
How many cards do you have access to? All of the Rise math feels so face down as the opponent because he has so many options to draw extra cards and generate card advantage. But it looks like after that, we're just going to pass it back over to Christian.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to see a Storm Tyrant's Eye get materialized here. Storm Tyrant's Eye can be banished to reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal an Arcane card. You take a unpreventable damage for each card revealed, and then you can add one of those cards to your hand. So usually just going to be finding another Arcane Blast.
Correct, yeah.
Maybe that Advent if we're looking to go big or go home.
That's right.
So yeah, we're just doing some thinking.
Yeah, I think Wilson's asking for a stop right here and thinking whether he wants to do something.
Definitely interesting.
He's definitely thinking about it because
yeah, maybe he has some sort of lethal range here that he's considering. He's really pondering that Storm Tyrant's Eye. Maybe if Storm Tyrant's Eye reveals a certain amount of cards, he can get Christian into a lethal range with something like a Fireball.
I wonder if he's misreading the card. So he's thinking about popping the amulet on this Storm Tyrant's Eye.
Oh, perhaps, yeah.
I don't think so, but he did take 2 looks at the card, right? So maybe it's a card that he hasn't seen, but yeah. Okay, so we have Arcane Sight drawn by Christian.
So we are going to see that Storm Tyrant's Eye. Going to reveal some cards. Gloam Spire, Dungeon Guide, Advent of the Stormcaller.
That's right.
But he's going to be a little short on levels here. Advent of the Stormcaller is a startling 15 reserve cost. Does have efficiency.
That's right.
But I believe Christian here is only level 8, so that's going to be a bit of a tall order.
Yeah. Well, I guess he has...
I don't believe he has any Enlightened counters either.
No,
so
he burned them all earlier, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to see an Arcane start to start us off. Get 1 temporary level, draw a card.
Draw a card.
But unfortunately, Mark, it looks like he has a couple of copies of Power Overwhelming in his hand, but he really can't cash those in.
Can't cash them in without the Indictment counters, for sure.
Yeah. So he's a little bit stuck here. It looks like another Voltaic Sphere as well, which, again, he can cast, maybe take care of that Ghost of Pendragon, but that's really not what he wants to be doing. This is the turn where Rai is looking to put the pressure on and submit some sort of lethal damage, but looks like he's going to be a little bit short without some more filtering. Might cash in this increasing danger.
Does he have enough with Voltaic Sphere in the graveyard? Because that's a delta of 2.
Yeah.
Right? Because once you banish it, you're going to pay 1 less, and you're going to go up 1 more level.
Right. Yeah, that might be enough. Let's see where this Voltaic Sphere is pointed. We weren't quite clear where this was targeting, whether it was going to Merlin or maybe going to one of those pesky allies on board. All right, so it looks like that was going to Merlin. Oh, yeah, and then we get the banish here off of the Tome of Sacred Lightning, which you might be right. This might be enough for him to get to that.
And he
that
gets
Advent.
1 more. There you go.
He can even cash in his extra Power Overwhelming for 1 level if he really needs it.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's up to, should be level 10 now, I believe.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Should be still, no, it should be 10.
Yeah, I believe level 10.
10 because of the Arcane Sight, yes.
Oh, and I think you're exactly right, Mark. I think if he banishes that Voltaic Sphere, he has enough to cast that Advent, if that's the line he wants to take.
I think that's going to be it, yeah. Oh, man. Here we go, guys.
Yeah.
11.
He has exactly enough to pay for it, right? Put 4 down.
Yep. 3 actually.
Or it's only 3 because
you
gets
pay
the
one
extra
less.
One.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I believe it was a little bit quick. Did he just keep a Arcane Blast in hand?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this might be enough. So Advent of the Stormcaller is going to do its best Scry the Skies impression. You're going to reveal the top level cards of your deck.
Whoa.
You can banish whatever you want as long as they're arcane. For each one banished, you deal 2 damage to a unit of your choice, and then you can put the rest on top or bottom, so you can sort of set up your draws for next turn if this isn't the turn to get it done.
Oh no.
That is
Dispositions,
a lot.
spheres, another Stormcaller, Bolt.
Oh my god.
GG. Oh man. I think he's looking.
So if he decides to banish all of these arcane cards, that's going to be 12 damage. And if you're right and we have an Arcane Blast, we're looking at 23 total, and that's just not enough, right? That would put Merlin to 26.
The other problem is also the Safeguard Amulet has been popped as
well.
well.
Sure.
So...
Yeah, so the way that Safeguard Amulet is going to work here is Advent of the Stormcaller does deal damage in increments of 2.
Correct.
And so Safeguard Amulet is going to see each and every one of those and make this Advent of the Stormcaller not deal any damage. But, like we said, you can use this to get some extra levels as Rai, and then you can set up the rest of your deck, keep whichever ones of these he wants. He can even keep that second copy of Advent of the Stormcaller and cast it basically for free next turn.
Correct, yeah. He has a lot of cards, too, that he can choose to put on top.
So we might see that happen here.
Yeah.
And like we had said a little bit earlier, he's just not under a whole lot of pressure, but you know, Rai only having 25 health, already having taken 13 damage.
Yeah.
He's not out of the woods.
Not out of the woods. And looks like Christian is going to be clearing the board, setting up another Advent of Stormcaller right on top of the deck. So we know what's going to happen next turn.
Yeah, we saw all of them go to the bottom, 1 Advent on top. That's our plan.
Yep.
But he has to make it through this turn from Wilson, which is no easy feat. Merlin can really push some damage. Stuff like Fireball getting really scary. Merlin going to be up to level 6 naturally.
Yeah. I think Christian also banished 6 arcane cards on that, which now puts him at level 15.
Yeah.
Okay, Creative Shock on Instep from Wilson. Okay, discarding a Flame Rune.
A little bit of damage, getting a little bit closer.
That's right. Oh, man. Wilson checking his graveyard real quick. Okay, he's going to try to get the Drawn Blade out. Dig for more answers here.
Gets to draw a card, and at worst, getting close to that 1 point of damage being pretty relevant.
Yeah.
Only has to deal 10 this turn. And with an influence of, I believe, 3 in hand right now and 6 in memory.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Oh, we are going to see a Fireball for 7. In response, we're going to see that Lineage Release. So they're going to deal an effectual 1 damage Lineage Release that allows you to recover 6. But that means no more fire cards from Christian this game.
That's right. But I think Christian's pretty much done playing any more fire cards.
He's playing exactly Advent of the Stormcaller. That's
right.
the plan.
That's it. It's Advent or bust.
Yeah.
All right. So Wilson's going to pick up here.
And does he have another one?
Okay. He is going for 2. Oh, he can dig further. Yeah, so
that's a pretty good card that goes.
Pendragon comes in. Yeah, draws 2. Goes in for 3.
And has he found
1,
it?
2. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
There it is.
In general, right, like a lot of Merlin players, -5. A lot of Merlin players do try to just hold enough fireballs for that end game.
Right.
Right. And we didn't see anything get banished, so it's pretty obvious that this was going to be coming soon from Wilson.
Yeah, we saw just the absolute power of Safeguard Amulet there, just being enough to keep Rai locked down for just a single turn. And that's all Merlin needs to take over. Just such overwhelming card advantage, gives her so many options.
Yep.
And we saw that definitely taking down the game there. So looking at sideboards, we can start with Wilson. What do you think's coming in for Wilson in this matchup?
Honestly, probably just a Blanche. And that's about it. I mean, the Morgans aren't really going to be doing much. Chalice of Blood, in this case, I mean, in general, you're either like 10 or you're dead.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
So Chalice of Blood usually doesn't activate. Tithe at this point, I mean, there could be a Tithe play, but thing is, usually Tithe is, kind of weird in this case. You might be locking yourself down. Now, of course, maybe there are some turns where he doesn't really want Christian to get too much ahead if he's behind. So Tithe is always a good safe play.
Right.
But of course, like, you take off the Tariff Ring. Does that give him enough room in the actual material deck? I think that maybe he only has room for one card.
Sure.
In the material deck to
So you
swap
can take
out.
out that Tariff Ring, bring in
Bring
maybe
the Tithe.
that Tithe Proclamation.
I think so. And then you get, the 2 Blanche in there. Yeah. And of course, just take out any of the ally I hate.
Right.
Probably the most expensive one. So Incendiary Fractals, maybe Focus Flame. Those are basically useless. And then, put in the 2 Blanche and then kind of just do the same thing that you did for game 1.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Taking a look at Christian's deck, sort of a similar situation where he doesn't have a whole lot to bring in here, I think. Just packing 3 copies of Pyramid Mana, 2 copies of Disintegrate, and 3 Spurn to Ash. I think Disintegrate's going to look pretty good into a theoretical Incarnate Majesty.
Yeah.
We are on open deck lists, I believe, for
correct.
the players. So Christian does know there's only 2 Incarnates, so we'll see if he decides, to respect it with that Disintegrate.
Yeah.
But it's probably a powerful enough tool in this matchup that he does want to have a way to deal with it.
I think he brings it regardless because you have to account for the fact that the Deer does have a Spell Shroud.
Yeah.
So if you don't bring it in, you're really setting yourself up for potential problems.
Right.
Yeah. So Christian's going to be going first here. Okay, glimpsing his 6. Some pretty good openers. I mean, you see the increasing danger here. Those are keeps.
We do see that Disintegrate as well, so you were exactly right.
Yeah.
He did bring it in for those Incarnates. Looks like he's going to keep 3.
All right. So is that no? It's Creative Shock. I thought he pulled 2 increasing dangers.
That would be pretty
opening.
good.
That'd be fun.
The first one's very strong, though.
We could still get another one here.
Yeah. So increasing danger, a very interesting card in that this card is going to be put into the memory of Wilson, but as the first turn of the game, you do not go to your recollection step, so he's not going to get access to that card right away.
Yeah.
So it's just going to sit there and wait for him on the next turn.
And the other card that Christian has is basically just as good as increasing danger. He does have a Gloamspire as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Gloamspire is huge, especially in a deck like Rye where you go so low on influence because you're looking to banish your own cards to work towards that Rye Stormseer ability. We're going to see Gloamspire really do some work here.
Yeah.
Hasty Messenger coming in, the classic, discarding a floating memory. Fast Gear probably not going to be turned on this game.
Great discard there. It's always beautiful when a Merlin player sees some good, easy floating memory in hand with a Hasty Messenger.
Right. Oh, wow.
A second one. Opening just like last game.
Yeah.
Discards his Library Witch, which, again, not as useful, right?
Yeah, definitely a great start. And we saw one of these last game, and it really did work out for him. So this is exactly where Wilson wants to be.
Yeah.
You're going to see Christian level up to Rye Spellcrafter. Get that first Arcane card in there.
Great banish, by the way. Arcane Side is basically, hey, I'll take the permanent level 1 instead of the temporary one.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's a pretty good hand. He's going to put down 3 Arcane cards for that Gloamspire. And like you said, he's going to immediately start getting value.
Yes.
Gloamspire only draws a card for players with influence less than 7.
That's right.
And that is correct for Christian right now, but not Wilson. Wilson's looking like 8 influence at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, just starting up that card advantage engine. Such a powerful card is Gloamspire if you can really take advantage of it being a one-sided effect rather than symmetrical.
Yeah, one thing I noticed too last turn is that Christian ended the turn with 4 cards in hand, 1 Creative Shock and 1, the other 2 cards I'm not going to comment, but 1 Creative Shock and 1 Gloamspire. I'm kind of curious why he didn't play the Gloamspire last turn. Maybe potentially end turn Creative Shock, but that's also trickier because you want to control maybe like the Rye Banish.
Right.
So it was it's definitely an interesting play. I'm sure there's a reason behind that, but I mean, maybe Gloamspire earlier, even if you don't activate it, could be some extra value later too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely interesting. All right, so we're going to see a level up here from Wilson. Lorraine coming out, grabbing that Sword of Seeking. Tale as old as time.
Yeah, and love to see it when you can banish your floating memory instead of paying for real with real memory.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find a couple more. Still has those Hasties on the board.
Yeah.
Gonna get some real card filtering, which is so huge. You really just need to find those powerful endgame pieces
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
2 Hasties too, because I mean, not just card filtering, but also, well, he discards Pendragon.
Yeah.
But also just be able to put some damage on the Rye, right? This again closes in that late game for the Fireball for any creature type of plays here. Yeah, gets rid of the Library Witch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pressure is the name of the game. Like you said, chipping away. 4 damage already. And yeah, seeing that Ghost of Pendragon get discarded again, we're just really seeing Wilson value not exactly the cards that he values in every other matchup, but assumingly things like Incarnate, Fireballs, even, you know, additional ways to accelerate himself to level 3 as fast as he can.
That's right, yeah. Okay, he's going to go ahead and pass the turn with all cards in hand.
Yeah. We're going to see some Banished, assumingly here for Rai, level 2.
Banish at 3. Okay. All right, so there's one Voltaic and one Advent of the Stormcaller here for Rai 2. So Rai's looking really good on the Banish right now. 3 Arcane already in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants, and it looks like he has access to a Dungeon Guide as well, so this has been a really quick start from Rai.
Yeah, so he has 2, he puts down the other Dungeon Guide, and he holds up 2 Creative Shocks. Yeah. Okay, go for the Banish for level 3 here.
All right. So it looks like he did get rid of that Dungeon Guide and an increasing danger.
Correct.
I believe he put down 1 Arcane card. I didn't get to glimpse what it was, so it looks like we still have an Arcane card in memory.
I believe it was the Arcane Sight.
Sure.
I think so, yeah.
Going to see that powerful Gloam Spire activation. Definitely looking, again, one-sided here, which is really where you see the power of that card.
Wilson's thinking about it. Do I play a card so I can draw a card?
Right. Do a little cycling.
All right, goes in for 1 damage, a little chip.
All right. So it looks like after that, it's probably just going to pass it over. Influence being very low on the side of Christian. It's going to be pretty difficult to cast those Creative Shocks that he's holding onto in hand.
2 Creative Shock that you can't play.
Right.
Yeah.
They're a good one, but only good when you can cast them.
That's right.
We're going to have to wait until next turn.
That's right. All right, so Wilson's going to play his Creative Shock.
He can afford those.
unlike Christian here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just thinking about the discard.
More Library Witch.
Library Witch.
So apparently, you know, if we can't put him on the pyre to burn, we could just shock him out.
Yeah. Get rid of him somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate draw from Wilson, but he's making the best of it, getting rid of those Library Witches. We're going to see, oh, wow, we're going to see a Disintegrate and an Incarnate get banished here for Merlin Memory Thief.
Yeah, that's a pretty big banish, thinking, you know, Wilson only has 2 in his deck.
Yeah, that's got to feel bad unless maybe he's holding on to the second one.
And Christian knows this too, so yeah, it could, like you said, it could be the second one, could be second one with especially the Crux site to bring it back just in case. Yeah.
We're going to see a Floating Memory discarded from this first Hasty. Good start, working towards that Merlin King Slayer. Just thinking about what he wants to perhaps discard to this next Hasty Messenger that's assumingly coming in for 1.
Yeah. I bet you he drew the Exercise Curse as well, because I noticed the Creative Shock did not discard a floating, right? He discarded the Library Witch. So that must have been his draw, because, yeah, that would have been a discard otherwise, and then burn 1 less for Merlin.
Yeah, you can get into these awkward situations with these late game focused decks where you just draw a bunch of the early game stuff that you don't necessarily need, but we did find a Dungeon Guide.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I take that back. I think this was intentional because it would have been a Merlin burn, get that level, get that acceleration to draw faster. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So we're going to see the choice to banish the second Incarnate.
We are not going to incarnate the Majesty. Oh, man.
Yeah, maybe we are overvaluing Incarnate in this matchup. It looks like Wilson doesn't need it. He's ready to forge ahead without it. Going to see that Hasty come in. Going to decline the discard. And then 1 from Dungeon Guide as well.
Yeah, I mean, he is looking at Christian's influence here. Perhaps he's thinking with 4 influence, there's not much options he has.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he feels safer banishing the Deers.
He has a little bit of time here. He can maybe take a turn or 2. And that's exactly what we saw last game as well. Rai created this sort of large amount of level counters and advantage, and then, you know, passed over and died to some fireballs, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the plan here from Wilson.
It just was not the right hand. Okay, there's the Arcane Sight that he probably wanted to banish, but hey, we'll take a card draw as well.
Yeah, trades itself out.
It's fine, yeah. A draw. Oh, I often call the Arcane Sight the 1.33 card draw.
Sure, yeah. And it did bring him to that breakpoint of 3 Enlightenment counters as his first mage action of the turn. It looks like he found an Arcane Blast. which is a good start. A little bit far away now, but a good start. Looks like a Disintegrate, those 2 Creative Shocks.
And it must feel really bad holding Disintegrates now, seeing that 2 Incarnate Majesties are in Banish.
Yeah, he's getting pretty close to level 8. You think he just fires this off on something, a Sword of Seeking, a Hasty Messenger?
Yeah, it's not a lot of great targets on the field for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to go pass. I mean, again, Christian knows the deck list, so maybe it becomes a Creative Shock discarding the Disintegrate.
Sure.
And then deal the 2 damage, still being pretty reasonable there.
Right, get a little bit of value. He gets to do it on his opponent's turn, so he gets that extra Enlightenment counter from Rise Inherited effect.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to see Wilson get a GCR. And this is the fabled draw 3 cards from Merlin here. Going to draw 1 off GCR. Going to get that second counter on Kingslayer to draw a card. Going to draw a card for turn.
Before the turn even begins, yeah. There you go. Second alignment, level counter here, draw a card. He probably had some plays as well, there you go, Cruxite Pendragon.
Grab that, goes to Pendragon, draw another card.
Okay.
And this feels like something that you had said when we were talking about sideboarding, Mark, is that maybe Tithe Proclamation not looking as great if you want to do turns like this, right? You don't want to hamper yourself.
Yeah, he's looking at the field. I mean, obviously, he could still have the Tithe in the material deck, but doesn't need to bring it out.
Right.
The other fun thing is also if you have Pendragons, you can,
you can bounce your own Tithe Proclamation
when you don't need it anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So powerful are the tools that Crux still has access to. Seen a couple of revisions, but we still have some really powerful card draw, and Cruxite is just such an amazing card.
Crux still draws really well.
Yeah.
Okay, Hasty's gonna go in. Discarding Fast Care. He's still discarding Floating. He has more.
Yeah, you can start grabbing Drawn Blades, Prismatic Edges, plenty of things to use it on. 1 more float.
Oh, man. Okay.
And yeah, this +2 attack here he's going to get use of out of the Sword of Seeking. We'll see if that's going upstairs or going to deal with this dungeon guide. But just really putting on the pressure is probably the name of the game here.
Yeah, 3 more damage upstairs to Rai. Again, just setting up for easier Fireball. Just 1 more.
1 more. It's getting real close, too. This is exactly what we saw last game, just closing that gap, making these fireballs really scary. We're going to see that very scary Ghost of Pendragon draw 2 more cards, put 3 more damage. This pressure is just really mounting.
So many chances to dig for more fireballs. It's crazy. And like you said, too, like maybe we just don't need Incarnate Majesty to win this game.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of looking that way. 16 damage on Rai already. Only needs 9 to get across the finish line. But you got to be scared as Wilson. If you do pass the turn here, Rai's starting to build that influence back up, and that might be all he needs to close the door. So I think Wilson's going to do his best to find some lethal damage this turn.
Yeah, Wilson does have, I believe, 7 cards in hand still.
Yeah.
I mean, that Pendragon really just giving so much value.
Yeah, he's just got so many options.
Okay, he is going to pass. Okay, so he's going to be passing, and then, of course, immediately goes for the... Christian almost drew his material deck.
Right.
Yeah. There. Oh, he discards the Creative Shock.
Yeah, so it looks like he kept on to that Disintegrate, maybe thinking about firing it off on Ghosts or something.
Oh, and he drew another Creative Shock. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, you really don't have enough chances to go cast Creative Shock because it's really not something that you can continue looping, putting those cards down. You really need to be doing something against the board.
Yeah, the game is closing out so quickly that you just don't have time to spin any wheels.
Okay.
Gonna see that Storm Tyrant's Eye. Maybe find him a little bit of damage. But he's in a really risky situation here where that Storm Tyrant's Eye is going to deal him some unpreventable damage, and that could very easily take him into Fireball range here.
Yeah. Does have a, I believe, is that it? Did he draw a Careful Study? So that's going to be the Tome.
Yep, we're going to see that
Banish.
Tome play, get rid of a useless card, allow him to get +1 level, and allow him to get that Tome of Sacred Lightning should he want it out of his material deck.
Yeah, that was actually a really cool play, too, because he used the Gloomspire to put the 1 into memory.
Oh, yeah.
To then pay for the Tome, because he didn't actually put any cards down.
Right, very smart.
Yeah.
Really getting advantage out of that draw into memory effect, which usually only helps you on the next turn.
Okay, he's going to try now, because he does also have a Power Overwhelming in hand. So he's going to banish the Storm Eye Tyrant now.
Yeah. And see what he gets. If he does, like you said, he has a power of overwhelming. So if he gets something like an Advent of the Stormcaller here, ooh,
Okay.
it's not what we wanted.
It's definitely not what we wanted. It's better than, yeah, well, I mean, you could just go one card deeper, I guess.
Yeah, maybe
One
it's the
level
next
up.
card. The
Yeah.
next card is the one we wanted.
It's correct. Oh, it's this card. This guy.
Ooh, that's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Gonna see some cards. He can even perhaps do something like fire off this Erratic Bolt if he wants to see some more cards. Really a wealth of options, but it looks like he's just gonna go for the Scry. I believe he is level 8 here.
He is 3 plus, he is 7. Yeah, the Storm,
Oh, the extra level from the Arcane side as well.
oh, correct, yes, 8. You're right. Oh, some spheres.
Some spheres. It looks like another power overwhelming, but I don't see anything like an Advent, which is really what he was looking for. He did find an Arcane Blast.
Second Arcane Blast, okay.
It's getting a little bit closer. He does have access to that Erratic Bolt, which can do its best fireball impression and allow you to get over the finish line, but that really requires you to be a much higher level than he is now.
Yeah.
It looks like we found an Arcane side as well, so you can do some cute plays by putting the Arcane side as the top card,
That's right.
drawing it, playing it, drawing the next card.
Yeah, it's going to be able to go a couple cards deep. There you go. Draws that card.
Still
And-
has access to his tome as well.
Yeah.
God, just so many options.
So many options. Again, it's the right turns, right? Like, hey, it looks like it's not working out, but it's working out. Okay, so ideally here he banished that one Arcane card. Let's see what he gets. Okay, there's
Nailed
the
it.
overwhelming. Nice. Okay, draws the Arcane Sight, like you said.
All right, so he's up to a natural level 9, level 10 off first sight, level 11 off second sight.
Yep. So now Arcane Blast is free.
Yeah, and he has 2,
He does have 2.
and that's most of the way. It's 22 up to 26. He just needs a little bit more, so he can draw a single card here. This allows him to cast Erratic Bolt and 2 blasts, I believe. I think he has enough cards here to fire off an Erratic Bolt and then cast those 2 Arcane Blasts. He's just doing the math. Make sure that there's nothing to worry about on the side of Wilson.
Is there anything on Wilson's side that he should be worried about?
You know, we could see something like a Tether in Flames, but I guess he's right out of range now. And I think that's probably going to be all she wrote. We're going to see that Erratic Bolt be cast. It's going to deal level damage to target unit, and then you can optionally banish 2 cards at random from your memory to draw 2 cards. Not going to really matter here, but it will give you some additional levels. We are going to see a response from Wilson. Is this Wilson, the most patient man in the world, holding a fireball?
Blanche,
Ooh, Blanche would be huge.
right?
Yeah.
Could be. Sparkle Light.
Oh.
He shows a Sparkle Light, so he doesn't have the Blanche. Otherwise, he would be blanching right now, right?
Yeah, but we could see a Sparkleite deal 3, and then that puts Tether into lethal range. If he has a Tether, that would bring Rye to 20. Tether. Oh, he has both.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly like you said, Mark. Blanche. Oh my God.
I believe Wilson's list doesn't run Tether, but the Sparkle Light does put more cards into memory,
Gotcha.
allowing Blanche to just reduce even more further damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 cards in memory here is going to make this Erratic Bolt dealing a measly 5, which is totally acceptable numbers. It's going to turn those Arcane Blasts into 5s again, which is
Yeah.
not great. Not what you want to see.
Well, Christian's going to have to dig deeper now.
Does get a couple more levels, going to draw 2 cards, and maybe he's the luckiest man on Earth and draws 2 Arcane
Full take
Blasts.
sphere and the disposition here.
So he can use this Voltaic Sphere to deal with this Blanche, which is probably something he really has to think about.
He has to go. I think it's basically go big or go bust. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to kill
Sphere-
that Blanche.
Sphere the Blanche.
And that leaves
Perfect.
us with 2 Arcane Blasts for
And he got
22.
it. Oh my gosh. Navigating that.
Wow.
Yeah. And all this happened on the stack of basically Blanche being activated.
Right.
Because if he lets, he can't let the Blanche resolve. He can't let the Erratic Bolt resolve on top of the Blanche, or else the damage prevention would actually probably make it not lethal. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, Christian's really clawing for it. I mean, a lot of these Rye games, right? They look like You know, it's like, is he down? Is he up? What kind of cards can he draw? It's so spicy. It's so exciting to watch because, you know, you never know. I mean, maybe the next card. How about the next card?
Right.
Can I somehow etch another card? And every time you do these things, you're gaining incremental gains, whether through banishing, whether through Arcane Sight level up, right? So many options here.
Yeah, you see so many cards, and it just shows the true strength of card selection. Like Scry the Sky seeing 8 cards, looking at all of your possible options. So many chances, like you said, for redraws with Arcane Sight and Tome of Sacred Lightning. And we saw what seemed to be like a pretty tough situation to be in. Him being at 20 damage counters, a Blanche in play with 6 in memory, and he still found a way to navigate it.
Yeah.
Which is just super impressive.
Now, the other cool thing is, you know, Christian did leave the Voltaic Sphere on top of the deck when he scried. I wonder if that was intentional, knowing that the Blanche might be an option there on the opposite side as well. So that is, I mean, that is really, really cool to see as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are the best players in the world, right? So they're thinking about the things that we're not.
That's
you know,
right.
They're thinking 3 steps ahead, and maybe thinking about Blanche is the only thing that can stop me here, and I really need to make sure I have an out for it.
7th dimensional chess.
Yeah, 7-dimensional chess.
Looks like we're going to game 3 here. But hey, the other fun thing is I love how both players are so happy, and look at the smiles on the faces. I mean, the guy just got blasted in the face for like 30 damage plus, but he's happy about it.
Yeah, the camaraderie from all of our competitors this weekend has just been so awesome to see, and that's just really reflective of the GA community as a whole.
Yeah. Okay, so putting 2 down for a hasty and then passing turn.
Yep, just going to deploy that. Knowing it's pretty safe. Christian's not playing really a whole lot of removal, so this hasty's probably going to get to stick around for a while.
Looks like Gloamspire is going to be chucked to the bottom here. Draws 3, and then draws that 1 extra. I'm always curious, right? When you're playing against Serene players, do you try to go second because it really punishes? I mean, how do you feel about going second against Serene?
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult choice. Going second does sort of punish them in that influence, right? Where they really lose the influence. And I think maybe in a matchup like this where influence is the name of the game, you can sort of take advantage of that. But we do really see the deck building of Christian's deck here come into play where this Gloamspire is going to sort of negate that influence loss that you get from playing Serene. So definitely an interesting choice.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, this is probably why he chucked the Gloamspire in the first round of looking at the cards, simply because, you know, it also gave Wilson, unfortunately, another card as well. Yeah.
And that's going to be huge here. Both players really fighting for higher influence to get to that late game, and like we saw in that last game, have sort of a flurry of blows where both of them expend a whole lot of resources all at once.
Yeah. Spell sling on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Hasty, discarding Honorable Vanguard. He does have a Dungeon Guide, 2 Flame Runes, and a was that a Creative Shock on the top?
Yeah.
A Pendragon for the later game. I mean, this is a pretty good hand.
Yeah, I don't think that Wilson could have drawn it up better. This is basically everything you want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the only card that you really don't care about is Disintegrate, but hey, you know, it's okay.
You got to put some cards in your memory to pay costs,
That's
right?
Yeah. Okay, Lorraine swinging in for 1, and then banishing, of course, 1 from Christian here to go level up to ride level 1 and banishing that Arcane Blast, the first one.
Arcane cards are good. Arcane Blast a little bit sad to see go, but there's a lot of damage in Christian's deck, so you should be okay without it.
Cool. Peer into mana here.
It's a pretty small peer. It's only going to be for 3 Enlightenment counters, and that shows that maybe Christian doesn't have a whole lot of ways he wants to spend his resources, but every turn he has to put cards down into memory to level up and get more Arcane cards into his banished.
So Gloamspire has been activated here, and then Wilson was thinking, but Wilson has no play here because his influence is too high.
Yeah.
All right, does give Christian 1 extra card into the memory. Taking a quick peek here. Passes the turn. Yeah, so Wilson, of course, end turn, end step. Creative Shock here, draw 2. Chucking at 1 of the Flame Runes. There you go.
That's going to allow a very clean level up to Merlin 2, Memory Thief. And again, this is 3 games in a row, just showing the absolute consistency of this Fire Merlin deck, just finding all of this early game that he needs, finds another Creative Shock in his Recollection step.
Yeah.
Going to discard that Incarnate, really not valuing those super highly. Maybe the games are going quicker than...
He does have a Crux Sight in hand.
Oh, interesting.
Which helps a lot for, you know, you don't... I mean, hey, the Graveyard is your second hand,
right.
apparently,
Sure.
for Crux players.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, so Hasty goes in, discarding his Flame Rune Swordsman. just feeding more. But that also helps with the one level counter for Merlin when he's ready to go up one level with the Dungeon Guide or even naturally, really.
I think you are exactly right. I think we're going to see that Dungeon Guide. Just like you said, we're going to see that floating memory get eaten, get that first level counter.
At this point, Wilson basically has a blueprint. I think he could use a robot to play Merlin deck, and he'll do. It's fantastic. I mean, just that consistency, like you said, it's really cool to see. I wish I could draw this well when I play Merlin, man.
It's that world's competitor difference, Mark.
That's right.
That's what it is.
I heard it's a skill issue.
Right.
All right. So Pendragon comes in.
Yeah, this is just a perfect hand. I believe he got to leave that Cruxite in his hand as well, so we might see him, pick something up or maybe keep it to save this Ghost of Pendragon should something interact with it.
It's a lot of options here for sure.
This is so much pressure. This is turn 2?
Turn 2. Yeah. Okay, banish this Scry the Sky, and I can't quite see that card, but another Crux card, or Arcane card for sure.
Arcane card and a Scry the Skies. Going up to Rye, Archmage. Going to get that very powerful inherited effect to hopefully draw some more cards. Speaking of drawing cards, we might see some danger increase.
He's going to have to do it. He doesn't want to do it, but he has to.
Yeah, feeding an influence to Merlin is so dangerous.
Yeah. Draws another Scry to hand.
And do we double down here, Mark? We play another one? Looks like we have another increasing danger.
Feels really bad.
Yeah, it does feel pretty bad, but hey, maybe that's what he's left to do. Looks like we're just going to see a Scry, a little one, only going to Scry 2. Going to see a Spell Shield Arcane, which is really huge.
Pretty huge, yeah. Gives him a lot of options. Both cards are pretty good. I wouldn't really want to lose. Oh, I think he did put the Spell Shield Arcane on the bottom.
Yeah, it was hard to see.
I believe what he put in hand was
the Voltaic Sphere?
Voltaic Sphere, yeah.
Interesting. Maybe just like you said, really valuing that removal against cards like Blanche and even Ghost of Pendragon that's really putting on some pressure.
Yeah, or I see the branch of like whether you go for a defensive or offensive play.
Sure.
So, yeah. But he also, kind of did it pretty fast. So maybe it could have been the other way and pulled the Spell Shield Arcane into memory. So we'll have to see when he shows his hand.
So we're going to see Kingslayer get that second level counter, draw a card.
What a turn.
What a turn. There's so much damage on board.
Oh, wow. He's already going to go for the Fireball.
Pre-Recollection Fireball for 6.
This is showing a lot.
Yeah, he must have found a lethal line, especially, Rise only at 22.
Yep.
And he should have enough just on board to get this done. Christian only has 2 cards in hand right now.
Yeah, I mean, what's on board is already going to set him to 21.
Right. So just anything, and surely
There's
he
a Sudden
has.
Steal.
Yeah, Sudden Steal, even like that Honorable Vanguard can come in there for the kill if she wants, right?
He has so many lines. But yeah, he's going to play slow. Just go slowly.
Yeah.
Gradual.
So we saw discard here to the Hasty Messenger trigger. Looks like he's going to respond by activating Rye Archmage, draw a couple of cards, see if he can find a way to deal with these threats. But it looks like he doesn't have much. He does have a Fireball that he can fire off, maybe to deal with something like this Dungeon Guide, but he doesn't have a high enough level to deal with ghosts. So we're going to see that Serene Lineage release. Going to give him another 6 life to work with, which maybe brings him out of range of Wilson's turn.
He wants to see it. If Wilson wants to take the win, he has to show it.
Yeah.
The Sudden Steal is just for 2.
And it's huge. It's for 8 damage with that Merlin trigger.
Yeah, he's counting up the cards. There's a Sudden Steal. There's, I believe, does he have another Fireball in hand? Did I see that incorrectly?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's counting it.
Just got to make sure there are no mistakes. We're playing on the biggest stage in Grand Archive.
Yeah. And this is a pretty pivotal match. I mean, both players are 2-2. Okay.
Yeah, really fighting for their tournament life here. We're going to see a Sudden Steal and a Fireball.
Yeah. Bump, easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, just this Merlin deck looking so explosive, so consistent.
Yeah.
Like you said, like it's like it's like he drew out these hands ahead of time, right? Like it's exactly what he needed.
Everything.
Turn.
I mean, it's almost like it's all the cards he wants to see. Really smooth turns.